What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Miami the Great. I am your host. Welcome to DWE Radio. That's right, DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. Yes, it is not Saturday. Today is Tuesday. We're doing a special episode of DWE Radio because this weekend will be the Elimination Chamber, and a lot happened last night on Raw that we have to talk about. Sort of like how sort of what Cody says, what you want to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. In the studio here with me today, no other than my co-host, the Unseen Bling, Final Boss Baby, the Final Boss. We're heading into Chamber, still trying to figure out what's in the box. We got a few injuries that happened yesterday. Jey Uso is down in the Elimination Chamber. I think we'll cover that. Javon Evans and Kofi Kingston had faced each other yesterday. I know me and Final Boss had some opinions about that. Raquel Rodriguez is actually in the chamber. I do want to have some thoughts about that. And MAXXINE DUPRI gets knocked out. We have a lot to discuss about that angle that happened yesterday with her and low-key legend Natty. That's what I would call it now. Hopefully this character will get off with her, but we'll get deep dive into that. And Liv Morgan finally chooses who her WrestleMania opponent is, and that's Stephanie Vaquer, which that was not a shout out. And Brock Lesnar opens up an open challenge for WrestleMania. Come on, this is Brock Lesnar. But like we said, thank you guys for joining us. If you're not knowing where to find us, we are now live on YouTube. So you can join us on YouTube. That's Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube, or you can follow us on X. That's Miami the Great 305. My co-host is the Final Boss Baby. That's 2 B's 1 Y CFO on X, or you can follow us on our X page. That's Talk It Up Podcast. You will see our Talk It Up logo on our X page. Thank you guys. Or follow us on Twitch, where we will be doing our very first watch party. That's DWE_watch_alone on Twitch. We will be back live on Twitch real soon. So hang with us, guys. We started to do a few episodes back on YouTube since we kind of slowed down to Talk It Up, but we'll be streaming on all platforms by next week, real soon. Final Boss Baby, how are you doing today? Are you there?
Yes, I am here. I'm doing well, and like Miami said, this is a pop-up episode. You're not mistaken. It is not Saturday. It is Tuesday. But I was a little bit annoyed yesterday with Raw. So here we are. Because after what happened for that Raw Go Home show yesterday, we're gonna have to bring some livelihood back into the world of wrestling that it is.
Well, let's get deep into it, because I think this is gonna kind of roll into the Vision stuff that's going on with the Vision. We started off actually with Raw, with the Vision coming out. You had the Vision coming out, saying something to Cody. Actually, what Cody was
No, that is not true. So the start of Raw was actually when Michael Cole and Corey Graves came out there, and they did a great job. And they did a real good job, because this is very important. Don't say nobody, because this is it's because of this is why I thought Raw was going to be a really good go home show. It gave me the 2000s vibes, like you said on the phone. And I'm going to use your quote. It was a roller coaster. It had those highs and lows, and it started out really, really high, because you had Corey Graves and Michael Cole were in the ring. and they announced that this was going to be a tribute show to AJ Styles. And I was, I was like, okay, we have this nice kind of plot. Of course, we have Gunther come out, interrupt them. They go sit back down the announcer's table. You have Gunther kind of just doing his thing and being a heel and, saying I'm Gunther and I retire people and the same old stick. You have Pierce coming out there saying, I knew you were going to do that. Go ahead and stop. And I feel like Pierce's mic was low. He was screaming. And it's like, even though I think the whole idea was he was not going to stop talking, Gunther wasn't, but I kind of felt like he didn't stop talking because he really didn't hear Adam Pearce at first, because I didn't hear him at first. But hey, Adam Pearce came out there and said, "Hey, we're not gonna do that. You need to leave." And Gunther just said, "Hey, yep, I'm gonna leave, not because he told me to leave, but because I just want to leave and I'm gonna go home." So he left. So that's how we started Raw. And when I saw that, I was really excited because I thought that it was going to be a bigger plot to Gunther later on in the show, because they then later on announced that the tribute was going to be at the end of the show. So I was like, oh, we're going to have this big plot twist at the end, which we'll talk about that later on in the radio. But that is what started Raw. And that's actually the catalyst about why I wanted to have WWE Radio, because when I saw this first 10 minutes of Raw, I was super excited. I was like Stephanie Vaquer said, I'm old. No, not Stephanie Vaquer. Actually, Io Sky had said, over the moon, right? Because I was like, okay, we're going to have a really good go home show. And then we got what we got. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and go into the vision stuff and kind of pivot there, we can, or, depending on what direction you want to go.
No, actually, because this will lead into, because once we got started,
Cody.
Yeah, Cody came out. Cody stared down Gunther and came out to the ring. I seen a lot of people at IWC, they don't want that match. And we know we had got it once before. It wasn't too bad of a match, but it was what it was.
And then it's a very important part right there. I did kind of stop, but yeah, he said he was going to go home. He was leaving, and as he walked towards the entrance ramp, we got that really, really good beat down by Dragon Lee, who of course was the tag team partner of AJ Styles. So we got that really good beat down. We had Adam Pearce, trying to say stop. We had officials kind of standing there not doing too much. So we got all that. And then of course we got Cody in the ring, which, let's be honest, Cody was just there because it wasn't Atlanta and they wanted to have that hometown pop. That's all he was really there for. I mean, we know that. he was just there just to get the hometown pop. They didn't have anything on it, really on the agenda for him.
Yeah, I said the same thing too, because I was like, why is Cody here? Because everyone who you're facing is on SmackDown. It seems like Netflix needs these big stars, I would say, to trying to push the ratings up. So that it makes sense. And like you say, maybe to make the ticket sales seem right when you got the Atlanta homeboy which is Cody Rhodes, and we'll definitely get to the other Atlanta guy, which is AJ Styles, later on throughout our vignette here. But Cody did his promo or whatnot, giving AJ Styles his flowers or whatnot. And then next thing you know, we had the Vision coming out. And then you had the Usos come out. And there was the start of the match, Final Boss, and this is what we're going to get into. Our first topic is the Vision curse, Final Boss, because the reason why I named it that is because it seems like since the Vision started, we had so much expectations for this group. I mean, I can't think of no one who I did not compare them to the Bloodline. Somebody needs to stop saying that, because no one didn't think that. Just because Paul Heyman's with them doesn't mean they was the Bloodline. Let's just be serious. They did not give me Bloodline as type of vibes. They gave me actually Evolution type of vibes. And that was the expectations. Now let's just be honest. Evolution was a great group, and I'm not saying the Bloodline was a great group, but we have to give Evolution their flowers. I mean, look who came out the group. We had the Batista, who's one of the people that Final Boss loves when he did the thumbs down on one of the turns when they wanted him to go to SmackDown. Also, when they lift him up, and also you had Triple H do the thumbs down to Batista. You had the Randy Orton fuse that came out of that with him and Triple H. Actually, that's what led to Triple H getting handcuffed to the ring rope, and Randy Orton did the most crazy thing, kissing Stephanie McMahon on the lips, which was wow. I mean, that was heel Randy back then. I mean, we got all these great things from all these guys from the group that came out of it. I mean, Batista and Randy, I mean, man, they really benefited right off of Evolution. And we thought that the vision was going to be that. We thought the vision was going to be this group that we was going to get these new up and comers, Braun Breaker, and at first it was the Expressive Reed. At first, that's the original group, and Seth Rollins. That's how we was looking at this group. And then we're going to just run down the history. We had a match. I think it was King of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken, or I know it was a Saturday match. It was Cody and Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins finished his match hurt, guys. Let's not forget that Seth Rollins finished the match hurt. So I do give him his credit on that. But Seth finally beat Cody. This was the fourth match that him and Cody Rhodes had. And come to find out, we found out that Seth Rollins was hurt. Run down later on down the line, we was doing this storyline, which me and Final Boss thought they was doing with her husband Adam Pearce. With Braun Breaker, we was thinking that who was on the phone. We was thinking that the box had something maybe to do with this whole Adam Pearce and Braun Breaker stuff. Masked Man was going around. We had the Masked Man twice. We know who the first Masked Man was, Austin Theory, who's now in the group. And now we have a second Masked Man who me and Final Boss thinks not is in this story no more because everyone is now hurt. Come out. And next thing you know, Braun Breaker does this thing where he's like, frustrated, pushing over the announcer table, doing all this stuff, and we find out that he gets hurt. And then now brings us right to yesterday, where we get this match where Bronson Reed, you had Jey Uso and you had American Grande in the match, and I guess Bronson Reed was trying to either land on American Grande because that's who was at the top, and I guess either push him with his shoulder. I don't know what actually he was going for there, but he landed on his shoulder awkward. It reminded me sort of what happened with Liv Morgan a little bit because it's the same thing that happened with Liv in her arm. And he landed awkward. Now I know we didn't see it, but there is video of the referee putting up the X. If anyone knows that the X means someone is really hurt, seriously hurt. It's not kayfabe. It's hey, we got to get this guy out of here because we want no more injury to happen to this wrestler. You seen when we came back from commercial, the doctors was working on Bronson Reed. You could see him holding his arm. And next thing you know, Michael Cole and them had made the announcement about the potential of Bronson Reed being hurt. And I was like, oh my God. If this is happening, then
Well, it wasn't a potential. Like they said, he was out indefinitely due to a torn bicep.
That was a little later on. It wasn't right then and there. You're right. It was not right then and there where we was like, when they said it, well, he was like, he didn't know for sure. It was like later on. Yeah, and you're right. They made the announcement that he had a potential bicep. From what I read, he's going to probably be out to 5 to 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And Final Boss, I'm not going to lie. And I said this over the phone. I guess I'll say it here on DWE Radio. There's only 2 ways they can go with this. And I guess I'll put it out in the air because there's a lot of things I peeped out that it seems like whoever is over creative, they might be a fan of DWE Radio, but there's only two ways you can go with now the Vision Final Boss. Either you can break them up, let Paul Heyman go with Brock Lesnar, or the idea I pitched to you, and I want to hear your thoughts here on DW Radio is since it's now Logan Paul and Austin Theory, these are two guys that was not the original guys of the Vision. You have them come in and say, we are now the leaders. We are now the ones that run the Vision and kind of be the ones that say we're in charge now and kind of have that dynamic where so when Bronson, whoever comes back, Bronson Reed or Brian Breaker, I'm pretty sure maybe Breaker will come back first, and you kind of build that story where, like you were saying, they don't have a leader. You can kind of build that up a little bit too, because right now, I don't see the Masked Man even being involved or having Seth coming back. Because who's Seth going to attack? I mean, Austin Theory and Logan, they didn't have nothing to do with him turn them the Vision turning on him. So right now, that's the two ways I'll do it: either break them up or have this dynamic with Theory and Logan, where you have them being the potential leaders of this new group, the Vision Final Boss. I'd like to hear your thoughts about that and see your insights on it.
Well, before we answer all the questions about where they can go and what they can do at this point, I think we did a really good job of explaining how we got the vision. We did a lot of different pieces with the vision. Man, we talked about how, it originally started with just, with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins ultimately, he got turned on by Braun Breaker. Then Seth Rollins was hurt. So Seth Rollins was gone, so we couldn't even really do much with, him being out the vision. We got the Masked Man, which we found out was Austin Theory. I like his name. The Pressure is what Paul Heyman calls him. I really like that. And then now here we are, they added Logan Paul down the line. And they were trying to do things. I mean, at one point Division was every 20 minutes of Raw, you would get Division come out there and say a promo in the ring. Usually also would end with some type of angle with Division. But every 20 minutes we had Division for Raw. And then it kind of dwindled down and we moved on to this Adam Pearce, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker storyline where I'm like, well, is it going to be, is it going to be leading to a match or just a really good beatdown where Adam Pearce is gone from being the on-screen general manager? Is that where we're going? And it really did feel like it was going one of those two directions. And then, we found out, what was it, week before last, that Braun Breaker had a hernia, and it was actually, he already had a hernia, but by him lifting up the announce table, it really, really triggered it more. And he was advised to get that taken care of right away. So we lost Braun Breaker due to injury. So we're like, here we are, because now all we have left is Logan Paul, Bronson, and Austin Theory. I'm like, okay, make it work, maybe, because it seemed like the main person now was Reed. Here we are about a month and a half or so from WrestleMania, and now we are officially down Reed. So who we have left? All we have left is Logan Paul and Austin Theory. That's it. And of course, Paul Heyman. Remember, Paul Heyman is a manager. He's not a wrestler. He's a great manager, but he's just a wrestler. I mean, I'm sorry, he's just a manager, not a wrestler. And the problem, and it's something that I talked about with Miami earlier on today, we talked about where we're going for this direction for the show today, DW Radio, was this group, it had a lot of potential. Miami already stated that. And we hadn't have had a really strong faction in quite some time. I mean, we really haven't had that. I know we all talk about the Shield, we all talk about Evolution, but those other groups too. There was of course the X, NWO, Legacy was just it's kind of close to the vision where it really didn't go anywhere. We had what was it? Curtis Axel was with Paul Heyman, and I forgot the other person, but we did that for a little bit. And
You
there's
don't
one
remember who
people
the other
like
person was? It was
who was the
Ryback.
other person?
It
Oh,
was
well, see, that's
Ryback.
why. Oh Lord, well, see, and this is why. This is why. And of course we had other factions as well. Before I forget, we had Nexus, which was what
Yeah.
a real big thing. But what happened was it got a bad turn right around the time when they had put in John Cena and they put in CM Punk is where it kind of went to pits. We had the B team, which I liked, so of course with Bo Dallas, which is I loved it. The B stands for best B team. We had the 3MB, which was never going to be over. I mean, that was bad. Um, but
Really? You didn't like 3 and
yeah,
B?
no, I never
Really?
liked 3MB. No, no, I never
Really?
was a fan of 3MB. No, no,
Wow.
never was
Okay.
a fan of
Learn
them.
something new.
Um, I
Learn
I
something new every day.
I like the B team, but 3MB, no, not B man band, no. It
Mm,
was never gonna be anything big. Of course, we have other like tag team groups, like the Usos and the New Day. But look at them. I mean, they never, they had a really good start for a long time. Big E got injured, and then now this is where we are now. We had the Bloodline 2.0 and the original Bloodline. Both of those had a lot of great potential. Of course, the Bloodline, best thing in long time, but then the ending flopped. The Bloodline 2.0, right after Roman lost the title, it had a lot of potential, and yeah, we know how that's going. So I mean, I know people like to keep bringing up like evolution and all that stuff, but we gotta think of all those tag team style and factions that were around as of recently, and that's where we are. So sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't. Good example of success, would be you know Evolution and Shield. Bad examples would be really, I would say the Nexus is a good example of that because Nexus was big. Um,
well, hold up now. Daniel Bryan was in that group.
yes, but yes, while he became a major star, doesn't mean that everybody else in the group, we didn't get a lot of that. Yeah, David Otunga, he had a push for a little while, but
Yeah,
ultimately
that's
he stopped wrestling.
true. Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, we got Wade Barrett, who we thought was going to be a really big star because he was the leader of the Nexus. But his solo run after the Nexus was never really good. Yeah, I did like the whole Bad News Barrett, like I really did.
Yeah,
But it,
I
but
did
it,
too.
but it never picked up steam as you would think the leader of a group should have been. So it never lived up to the full potential. I think. Um, But you have your ones off because remember the Spirit Squad, right? And who got the Spirit Squad? We got who? Dolph Ziggler, which is now go by Nick Nenniff. And we also got well, that was really it. But at one time we really thought we were going to get Kenny Dystra, and that he didn't really get the rocket ship like we thought that it would. I mean, look at Judgment Day. Yeah, they are a good mid card group, but does have some main star power in there because, of course, you have the Dominics and Liv Dom. But I mean, remember, this was Finn's second wind. But I mean, they're still going with an idea with him because we're gonna have the him and CM Punk match at Chamber, but they didn't come out of it. He's not coming out of it very, very, very well. Um, so I mean, this is where we are right now. So as far as for the vision, man, to get back to their man, like the problem with this particular group is that it doesn't have the blueprint like other groups. The blueprint of the vision is okay. We got Paul Heyman, established heel manager, Paul Heyman guys, but everyone else there is either real, real new or mid Carter, or they had a chance to be pushed, but it was dropped. You're not having someone that has like a lot of hype behind them. The example of this would be like the Shield. Like the Shield was, three guys who were doing a lot of spark and potential in NXT, and we all know who that ultimately ended up being. I talked to Seth Rollins, your Dean Ambrose, John Moxley now, and Roman Reigns. It was going to be with Chris Base, with No Way Jose, which we know what happened to him. He got a little push, No Way Jose, and then he was let go. But those are people who have potential, and it's like, hey, let's go ahead and give them a time, a chance to kind of spark up more. And then when they're ready, we'll break them up and then we'll make them be our breakout stars. But the original idea that Punk had was to have him have a group, which Punk at that time champion. He was, a good up and comer at that time. So they would have had the leadership of someone with high potential at that time. So going to be Punk. Now, ultimately, things swerved, of course, with McMahon, and Punk wasn't involved. But the idea was to have him be that mentor. With Evolution, you had not one, but two mentors. You had two guys, Triple H and Ric Flair, who were at the very tail end of their careers. Triple H was still having matches and still being your heavyweight champion, but Ric Flair was pretty much on like his last leg before retirement. Yeah, he had a couple more matches because he had that really good match with Triple H, which I love, the screwdriver. It was amazing, but he wasn't really having matches. He was more of just that role model figure. But then you had two young guys, which was Randy Orton and Batista, who were going to be ones that you are looking to be your breakout stars and have them, build up with the leadership of your two legends, which is Triple H and freaking Ric Flair. That was the difference. This Vision group, well, before I get to Vision, also you had the bloodline. You have your veterans, like who you have, the Usos, who were really kind of falling under Roman, but the Usos are established. But then you got people like who you had, your Solos in there. Those are gonna be, probably your next breakout stars. And you have, of course, Solo. Add people to his group, like the Tongas and JC Mateo and Jacob. So that was the idea. But with the Vision, we don't have that veteran. The only veteran you had was Seth Rollins, and we had that turn that came too early, and then he got hurt. So we didn't have a chance for them to kind of be led, and not just on screen, but also led physically in the ring, to be these breakout stars. So at this point, you have a whole bunch of new guys, which is really like Logan. I would say Logan Paul and Breaker is your newest guys, but your other guys are guys that had some potential, but to lighten them down. Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns, and it went nowhere. Austin Theory, who was really like the chosen one by Vince, he had a great push, had that whole match, with Cena, and then the push kind of died, and he went with Grayson Waller, and it was just kind of like a dead end, so it's like he had the potential, but you waited too long to bring the light back around in him. So now here we are with who's that guy again? Austin Theory, Bronson Reed. Yeah, you had that match some time ago. It didn't really go nowhere. So your light is dimmed out. Even Logan Paul light hasn't been really lit really since he was the United States champion some time ago. He had this whole thing with John Cena, and that didn't give him any additional lights. These are lights that were blown out. For Vision to actually work, they would have had to grab these guys right when their push has happened. The Vision would work with someone whose push is current. A good example of that would have been Braun Breaker is the only exception in this group, but it would have been someone like Braun Breaker, which, he is in the group. But someone like Trick Williams, someone whose light is right now. You can't take guys who had previous light, it went out, and then you're trying to relive the light all over again. You can do that with stars. You can. We've seen that. A good example of that would be Roman Reigns. He had a light after the Shields, but then the whole booking with the big dog character, it didn't really get over. Then he was re-ramped, and the light was brighter than it ever was, and now he's the brightest thing out there. You can do it, but it has to be done in parts. You can't take three, four, five guys, all the light is all gone, and then you're hoping that the light is all going to be brought back together without the help of someone else. And in Roman's case, the help of his light being reshined was, of course, the character change. You know, we got the tribal chief, the head of the table, and we got the interesting dynamic of adding Paul Heyman. Now, with the vision, yes, Paul Heyman is there, but it's so many people. You can't just focus on one guy. There has to be another person there to bring that light against all these guys. There's no real breakout star in that group besides Braun Breaker. That is the issue. At least when you had Seth Rollins, the idea was he was going to, give him all the rub. But now you have just Braun Breaker, who is brand new, who's the up and coming star, and he's going to be the leader of what? All these other guys that either had that really had the light shine out of them. Like, it's not going to work. So now, in the quote, what Russell Talk has said in a previous podcast, it's mid-cars with Paul Heyman. I mean, that's kind of where we are. And now we're at the point where now the last hope that we had in the group was really Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed was really the guy who they were leaning more towards ever since we lost Breaker to the injury. It was just about 2.5 weeks or so ago, I believe now. It wasn't that long ago. But now he's gone. So now all we have left is Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And yeah, Logan Paul is a great wrestler. No doubts about it. Whether you love him or hate him, I don't love him. But he is a great wrestler, especially considering the fact he doesn't have this whole long list of, wrestling backstory. He's a great in-ring wrestler, but he's missing something. Austin Theory, look at how he comes back now. He was absolutely great, and I believe he can go somewhere. He has been being very, very vocal in the group, but they have to rebuild that because he just came out of a whole thing with Grayson Waller, and he hasn't really had that spark in him since back when he faced John Cena years ago. So, I mean, what can we do at this point? We now went from having a faction, a stable, to having a duo. That's where we are. And now here comes a question that Miami asks. Where can we go from here? What can we do? I say, based on the fact that Austin Theory has been very vocal the last few weeks and been very intense since he was revealed as a masked man with the group, I feel like he should turn on Logan Paul and just end the group. We can't have this group continue with just two guys. And we can't have the masked man continue because he's going to beat up Logan Paul and Theory every day. That's it. There's no element to it now. Two of the people are gone. And it's unfortunate because it's like, well, when Braun Breaker comes back, he's directionless. When Bronson Reed comes back, he's directionless because there's nothing for them to come back to. I would say if they wanted to break them up, have Theory turn on Logan Paul. Logan Paul goes away because he doesn't have nowhere to go. And when Braun Breaker comes back, you reintroduce him with Paul Heyman. You make just Braun Breaker the Paul Heyman guy. You're gonna run it back similar to how it was with Paul and Roman. He's just gonna be he'll just be a Paul Heyman guy. He'll be edgy. He'll be out of control. He'll be a mix between a Roman Reigns and a Brock Lesnar, as far as him being, the uncontrollable, beast incarnate style like Brock Lesnar, but having that edgy appeal like a Roman, and just run it from there. Now, as far as what you do with someone like Austin Theory and Bronson Reed, maybe put them at the tag team, or hey, have them go wherever you see them fit. I kind of feel like Austin Theory would be a really good tag team partner for someone like Finn Balor if they're gonna drop the angle with him and win the championship. I feel like I feel like those two will be kind of good together. I can see that working. But I think that would be the best plan for me. I wouldn't keep Logan Paul and Austin Theory as a tag team or as a unit. I think we do the turn real soon, and we just wait for Braun Breaker to come back and have him come back with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, because I mean, you're basically saying the same thing I said, and that's breaking up the vision. I was about to say evolution. You're breaking up the vision, and that's the same thing I said. I mean, you're basically saying the same thing. Um, I agree. Like I say, it seems like there's no hope right now, and that's crazy. A couple months back, me and you, we said it on Talk It Up or either DW Radio. We said that this group reminded us of a potential next vision. I even said that they remind me of a young that because everyone is a little bit younger than what the evolution was. I think Triple H was
Well,
the oldest one, and you had Flair. They
no,
was kind of
of course
like
Flair was the oldest one, but no, because Randy was super young. He was in the 20s back then. He was the
yeah, yeah,
youngest
yeah,
world
yeah, yeah,
champion
yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
then.
Because
But
well, you have
Batista, we found out. Well, I found out he was a little bit older because Batista
yeah, yeah,
now is like in
yeah,
his
yeah. That's
50s.
why I say this group was way younger than they were. So I was like, okay, they have a lot of more potential. Then I said, well, hey, the door you can go. You can open up a lot of floodgates here if you wanted to. And that's where we was at before, and I'm talking about before Seth Rollins had even got injured. And like I say, Seth went down, and like you said, it seems like they was just spinning their wheels. It didn't seem like they didn't know what direction they wanted to go. So they introduced the masked man back, which, like I say, me and you, we kind of had liked it a little bit. We was thinking that they was gonna probably go somewhere with it, even with the phone thing. Me and you had theories. We had a thumb already ready, thinking that we was thinking who it was, and they didn't even go nowhere with that. It seems like they dropped that, and I don't know if a lot of people forgot about the phone thing. They did tease it a little bit. Back before Bronson Reed got hurt, because he was like, "Yeah, you're calling people who are all over my head," but they seem like they dropped that final boss. I agree with you. There's nowhere to
Well,
go.
that was just dropped because the whole
Mhm,
the whole story was Adam, Heyman, and Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker got injured, so we couldn't really
mhm,
continue that story. Now they did try a little bit because you had Logan Paul and Bronson Reed kind of still poking at him, and then of course
mhm, mhm,
when Braun got hurt, when Braun Breaker got hurt, you
mhm,
had Paul Heyman kind of twisted and said, it's your fault. He was training so hard, and he hurt himself because of you. You pissed him off so much. He was training so hard and he got hurt. So
mhm,
they try to keep it alive because they were going to try to drag it out until Braun Breaker is back. And then this happened yesterday with Reed. So it's unfortunate, and I feel like the thing is that there's a chance that that box is somehow tied to the vision, or at least tied to Adam. I believe it was going to be some kind of management or authority figure change that was hyped or created by the whole issue with Division and Adam Pierce. But
mhm,
now that this has happened with Reed, we can't do it. So if that was the direction that they were going, that's gone. So thank God it's the box, because now they can kind of work quickly and change it to something else fast. And guess what? They gotta do it by this Saturday. But they're gonna have to throw things at the wall, because
Yeah, yeah.
we can't do it now. But at least we don't know what the element really is. They didn't really hint to anything about being what it could be. They didn't give us any clues, just saying, hey, pack up the box up. So we don't have any clues about what it can be too. So it's good that they did that. It was safe, because now they can kind of change things. We don't know really what the original plan was. So that's a savior. But the masked man thing we have is now gone, because unless you want the masked man to beat up Theory and Logan all the time, what are you gonna do with the masked man? You can't. I mean, unless the masked man gonna be, we gonna add somebody to the group, we can't do that because he's being up the group. So I mean, what can we do now? What do we do with Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins is gonna come back. Well, two of the main guys from the division are out. You can't make him say, "Hey, I sent this masked guy to take down the Vision." Well, the Visions done took out themselves. So I mean, there's nothing for Seth to come back. Yeah, they did. They literally took out themselves. It's not like, oh, who's gonna take out the faction? The faction, they just took out their own self. They just burned their own fire, which is unfortunate. It's not their fault. It was injuries happen. That just unfortunate happens to the people in this group kind of back to back. Because we're not even a month. We just lost Braun Breaker like about two weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks ago, and now we lost Braun Breaker. Sorry, Bronson Reed 2 weeks later. So, I mean, so we can't. It means now Seth has nothing to come back to. Remember, the whole thing was he was supposed to come back and have this whole thing with the Vision. Now he can't come back to nothing with the Vision. So he's gonna come back to what now? We have to go ahead and pivot. We got to put him with something else. And what's going to probably happen? Well, he's probably going to do something. I believe that because of this whole injury with Bronson Reed, and we had that open challenge issued by Brock, and I don't think this was the original plan, but I think now if Seth is ready to come back, have Seth answer that open challenge from Brock Lesnar.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's where we are. Clearly, that wasn't going to be the original idea, but now with the injury of Reed, that's where we go. And
Um,
whoever decided to make these decisions here and there was genius, because we have a box, but they didn't give us any Easter eggs or any clues about what the box had to deal with. So now we don't know. So now if something happens like this with the whole injury, they could just swerve it and we would never know, what happened. With the masked man, we know it was laser vision, but we can kind of just drop that. With Brock Lesnar having that open challenge, we can put somebody like I said, like I believe they should do, Seth Rollins in there, and there would never be anything else as far as it doesn't mess up plans, because if we would have, well, they would have given Brock, let's say, a challenger. Let's say they would have gave him Bronson Reed, or let's say they would have gave him Braun Breaker, which we knew they weren't, because that's supposed to be for Seth Rollins. But let's say they were going to. Well, that match is gone because they're both injured. By them saying, "Oh, it's open challenge," it could be anybody. So these are really safe moves that we have. So WWE needs to take advantage of those, and kind of hold on to those just in case plans change. And so that way it can easily pivot. The problem is that because everything is going left, we can't even have advertised match for WrestleMania now, because in 2 weeks something may happen and it's going to change.
yeah. Speaking of
So,
that, we're gonna segue to that because Brock Lesnar did do that open challenge. I found it quite weird that he did it, but now you're saying what you're saying. It makes sense. It's just I'm not gonna lie, Final Boss. As much as I would be kind of intrigued with Seth and Brock, I wanted to be over Femi. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over Femi. I think I had this conversation with last week on DW Radio with you on the phone. I was like, man, he's been on Main Event. He's been taking on one of the Pretty Deadly tag team, one half of one of the Pretty Deadly tag teams. He's taking on the Miz this Friday. They're teasing him and Rusev. No, and this is no disrespect to Rusev. It's just Rusev has not been that athlete like Rusev Day. I think that's when he was hot. Since he's came back, I mean, I've seen people just kind of make fun of him just being eliminated so quick at the Royal Rumble. He doesn't feel that threat. He didn't feel as much as a threat as Brock and Oba felt at the Rumble. We felt like, oh man, you heard the crowd; they was going crazy. I think IWC has spoken that they wanted to be Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. I have even said, man, come on, let's do it because this is if this is Brock's last um go home, hoorah. Let's get that out the way. That's one match I would love to see out the way. You say WWE you want to sell tickets, and I even tweeted TKO and Triple H said, hey, y'all want to sell tickets? That's your ticket seller. I mean, you got CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and now you have Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi. This is a newcomer. I think this is where you can get Oba finally over. They're giving Oba Femi these opponents that I feel like are not Oba Femi worthy. Now, and that's no disrespect to the guys who he's facing. It's just I feel like he deserves better. Yes, they're doing great, as you said earlier. They're doing great with Trick Williams. I mean, Trick Williams has been in the main card title picture a lot. He's been in some event or some tournament or something doing with the title. I think it's just Devon's first ever being in the main card picture, if we would say chamber, but I said that they need that high flyer. Yo, Sky, if you look at the other side of the women, you're always going to need that high flyer. You're always going to have that powerhouse. That's why I thought Bronson Reed, I'm pretty sure Bronson Reed was the one because he was going to probably be your power guy when you got into the chamber. But we know now that it was Jay Uso. But that's who I would like to answer this open challenge. It was like I said, it came off weird. The vibe felt a little weird. Like it was like they was begging for someone to come out. And I was like, man, come on. Like this segment had me, it was a little awkward. Um and you might be right. Cause when me and CJ talked earlier, he said, "Well, no one's going to answer it until WrestleMania," and I was like, "Well, hey, well, there goes your theory and his theory. If no one's going to answer this challenge until WrestleMania, it could be Seth Rollins." But I said another person. You put Seth in there. I said, "What about Royce Keys?" Remember at WrestleMania, who else didn't have a WrestleMania opponent? It was Seth Rollins, and who answered the call? It was no other than the Golden Boy, because we have the Golden Boy ourselves, DWE. Shouts out to you, CJ, Cody Rhodes, and that's how. And the rest was history. They started pushing Cody, and I was wondering, could it be Royce Keys to be the one to answer the open challenge? I know a lot of people.
Well, here's the problem with having someone like Royce Keys, also formerly known as for I love AEW as Powerhouse Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem with that: not established. And I don't mean not established as being a good wrestler, because a lot of people know who Powerhouse Hobbs is from AEW. I don't know about him being in other places, but I know from AEW. So crowd went crazy when he came out during Royal Rumble. But as far as him being established to WWE, and for those who only watch WWE, for fans who are WWE exclusive fans only, who don't watch anything outside WWE, this guy is not established as a WWE superstar yet. He just got there. So if you
Mm-hmm.
put him in a match against someone that is known to be dominant, as the guy who has beat up pretty much everybody, yeah, he's been beaten, but he has ran through everyone for years now. Of course, it's either you're gonna do two things. It's either you're gonna have Brock Lesnar absolutely destroy Royce Keys, and that kind of really kills his push because he's as big. He's a pretty big guy. He's known to be a powerhouse, and that pretty much killed his whole scene because he got beat down by Brock Lesnar. Not saying that Brock Lesnar is not probably the best thing you can do as far as like being beat if you're a powerhouse, but right off the bat doesn't look good. Or you'll have to have him beat Brock Lesnar. Okay, and then where do we go from there? The next thing he can do is just go for the title. He has to be right to the title picture if he were to go ahead and do that. And again, he has to be positioned to be a a viable component for someone. He's too new. He is too new to the exclusive WWE fan audience to be put in a predicament like that. Now, can they do it? Yeah, because it's not for a title. It'll just be just to have the match. So I can kind of see that. But they gotta be real careful about, hey, do you want him to win and be this real big next top guy, which he damn sure can be, but you gotta take that win and put him right into a main card picture, or are they just gonna have him fumble and have him lose and be beat down really bad by Brock Lesnar? Wrestlers that are established like John Cena can get absolutely crushed by Brock, which we saw, but it does not hurt the momentum because they're established so high. When you put a new guy who is a power style wrestler and they are absolutely destroyed right off the bat like that, for me, it kills their whole push and their whole persona. That is a match you want to have down the line once they have established their dominance. So if they're gonna do that, they have to put them right into the title scene. If they're gonna go ahead and do that, which they can, I say go for it, especially now that we are down in men because of the injuries. I don't think I put him with Division because he fits right in. I mean, hey, he's a powerhouse style wrestler,
Yeah.
and he's a new guy. But again, here we go once again. You're putting someone that, yeah, he has some steam behind him, but his steam is not super high right now in WWE. Like, let's be honest. Like most people right now, because he's been off TV and he hasn't really been in like a really good feud just yet because he just got there at the Royal Rumble. We don't hear as much buzz around him just yet because we haven't seen too much of him since. But here we go again. You put him in the vision directionless because again, this is a guy potential, fits all the molds, but we don't have that strong veteran to be the leader over all these new guys. So once again, we have another new big guy that's kind of running around with a whole bunch of new big guys and directionless.
Yeah.
Now if they really
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that vision part. Final
mm,
boss. That didn't cross my mind. I
now
would.
here's a crazy idea though.
Okay.
This whole thing with Punk and Roman had to do with things he said on Coca Cabana and the Shield and placement of everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember, the Shield was Punk's idea. He wanted to have a heel faction, right, to run with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have him. Hey, if he loses this title to Roman Reigns, which I think he is,
Mm-hmm.
have him lead division. Hey, he always wanted to run a
Man,
heel.
you know
He
Seth
always
Rollins
wanted.
go
He
crazy
always
if that
wanted
happens.
to run. Yep, and that's how you build that story because then eventually we'll get what
Seth will
we'll
go
get.
a freaking yes.
But yeah, but we need it because then we'll get what we'll get the best damn work shoot promos from Seth Rollins and from CM Punk down the line.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think
Because
about that either.
who else can you put in this group that is a veteran? Remember, they kicked
No
out
one.
Seth Rollins. So who
No
else do
one.
we have? No one. You can't. You're not gonna put Roman in there. I mean,
Nah,
you're not gonna put. Now you. I mean, I
I
guess
don't think Roman fits now.
if they build back up Randy, maybe Randy. But who else veteran you
Well,
have
Randy.
left?
Well, are we getting Legend Killer Hill Randy now? Are we getting that, Randy?
He'll be a heel regardless because the division is a heel group. I guess
Well,
they can make it. I guess they can make it like Legend Killer style order because
mhm.
this is new
Okay,
guys and
okay.
he'll.
I will take
But
it. I will take it.
yeah, so we can do that. But other than that, I mean, I say put Punk on it after he loses the title. If he loses the title, that's what I would do. And then and I say, hey, you know,
You know what?
yeah, we gotta
I
switch it
like that
up,
because
switch it up.
they don't have
I
no
say,
one.
I say, yep. I say, get Logan Paul the hell. I say, take Logan Paul and Bronson Reed the hell out of there. You keep Breaker, and I say you'll have to add someone that actually has
Powerhouse
more push
Hall.
behind them. Yep.
Powerhouse Hall.
Well, now known as Mr. Royce Keys.
Mm-hmm.
Trick Williams could be a viable source, but I don't want to put everybody in there because you got to have some solo guys out there. So I say have Trick Williams keep doing what he's doing and kind of see what he does. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do.
You know what? Because I know we're talking about the open challenge. Um, I like that. I like that idea because that gives something. Because now we can say what's next for Punk. That's your next thing for Punk. You have another story. You kind of can have him something where
Hmm.
lead him because we all think that in Saudi he may be taking on Stone Cold. So you got to give him
But
something
the
a filler up into
but
then.
the
So I would
but
like
the
that.
filler for me is more so for Seth because
Yeah.
unless we do the open
I feel like
challenge
we'll be both
with
right.
Well, unless we do the open challenge with Brock, which I say I would do, but if they don't go that direction, Seth doesn't have anything to go into now because two of the
Mm-hmm.
people who he would have faced are now out. This
Mm-hmm.
gives Seth a direction to go because he'll have a whole feud with him and Punk. Now, granted, they could do without him being in the division because, of course, Seth doesn't like Punk and we know their backstory, but I feel like we can't do that right now because the whole catalyst of the story of the feud is being used with Roman and everything that was said, during that Cocabana podcast interview. So I wouldn't use that. I would go ahead and tie this more into, hey, you won the Hill group. Guess what? I had the Hill group. You had to go back and step up on my toes, and I would start it off with that type of feud. I would.
Yeah. I mean I like it. I didn't think about that at all. I would like to see right now as we just speaking it just gives me interest because like I say that's a good filler for Punk right after because let's just say I know that's going to be the first question. Even I would not be surprised that will be our first question of what will Punk do now he's lost the title right after Mania. And I mean, what else best way to keep him in a good storyline? Like I say, he is one of your top guys. I know a lot of people don't like him, but let's be real. I mean, you got to keep this guy. He's been holding up the company because I mean, look, everyone's hurt. And quite interesting. Look who's two people. Well, Seth is hurt, but Roman, he's part time. But I mean, is now who would ever thought Punk would have to carry the company on one brand on his back? This is what Punk wanted. This is one reason why we heard that he left. So it's amazing that we're here, and I don't want to wish, like I say, injury on anyone, but that's where we're at now. But I do like that idea, Final Boss. Great analysis there. Other than that, let's get to our next thing. Unless you have one last thing left to say about the Open Challenge.
No, I just feel like I was gonna save this point for later on in the show, but I think I'm just gonna put it in here now because I think it makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
We talk, WWE has gotten a lot of criticism for, as of recent, not having the champions have a lot of matches. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about that with Cody Rhodes, reign of champion, especially that first reign. And we found out that yeah, with the dark matches and house shows, he had like 50 matches, but we only saw like what was the number, like 10 or something, like on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 8 or 10 if I'm not mistaken. That was, we got that. Then we saw with Tiffany, right? And then now we're seeing it with Jade. We saw that very heavy with Judgment Day and their tag team titles because they were never defending those. And when they finally defended, they lost and they were pissed. But we seen that there. We had forgot who the women's tag team champion was, for a little bit. I don't remember that. Um, Punk is a fighting champion. He's on more than most, but he don't fight every time. But I wouldn't put him in that category. I think he has enough matches to be a champion. I wouldn't put him in there. But
Well, yeah,
but
more matches than the other champions. Let's
yeah.
be real.
Well, that's what I just said. But we were seeing that right now with Jade. Apparently, Jade hasn't had a match since November, and here we are in almost March now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know, she's not gonna have a match until when, like WrestleMania, which is April,
Well,
in April.
she had a match against Jordan Grace a couple 2 weeks back. Then she,
Did she?
I thought she did.
I want to go ahead and look that up real quick because I didn't remember that she did. I remember Jordan Grace being there, but I don't remember her being the opponent though. Go ahead and look that up. But I don't remember Liv having too many matches the last time either. So at first we thought it was just poor booking of WWE, not putting the champions, in matches. And that they were trying to save them and had them all be this kind of big showcase, kind of like Roman. Like Roman, when he was champion, he was there, but he did mostly like segments and promos, but he wasn't having matches until PLEs because the whole idea was, yeah, it was part of his character with, the tribal chief and I'm here and this is me, but also it's also to give him that more of this person is not a everyday thing. Like when he wrestles, it's a specialty. So like, okay, well maybe they're doing this for everybody now. The champions and not specialties. We're waiting to hold them off until PLEs, which I thought, I guess, but it was so overly done by everyone. It's like you're kind of taking away the oof of it. But now, after seeing what has been transpiring now with the injuries and all this stuff, and even with injuries that weren't really taking people out for too long. I mean, look at Dominic. Dominic, he was still on TV, but he had what? He had like an arm injury a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie, she just got healed up from a foot injury.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Jay Cargo. She was injured because she had that big gash on, by her eyebrow. It was pretty much, it didn't have her out for long, but she still had that. I think now we're at the point where we are, having less matches for champions, not just to make them a spectatorship, is also to save them for PLEs because they don't want them to get hurt or injured and compromise these matches. Because could you imagine if Bronson Reed was your champion, or could you imagine if Braun Breaker had actually won the championship? We wouldn't have a match for WrestleMania because they are out. And so, I mean, it looks like it's probably best to have them not have too many matches right now because it's just too much of the injuries going on right now, which is, like I said, it's wrestling sport, it's a higher risk type of sport. But, when you have injuries like that and you have it on a champion, could you imagine if they had 3-4 people who were just injured and they were all champions on main events, you would have PLE. PLE would just be a mid-card PLE. If CM Punk would have gotten hurt on that Raw when he faced Finn Balor, we wouldn't have a champion on the card. We wouldn't have no viable champions on the card because look, you would have him out. Steph is out, but he's probably come back very soon. We got Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed are both out. So who else would you have? So
Um,
I mean, so yeah, so with that, I kind of like the idea of them having their champions be saved for the PLEs, so that way you don't compromise the PLEs. And I say, hey, after Punk has this match with Finn, for on Chamber, don't have him have any more matches until WrestleMania. You cannot risk it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
yeah. Actually, the last time it was February the 13th of this month, Final Boss. That's when that match actually happened. I knew it was um with Jade and Jordan Grace. But that takes us to our next conversation because Final Boss was talking about champions. We found out yesterday that Liv Morgan chose Stephanie Vaquer, which Jade was out there too. And if anyone knows, I did not know this that Jade hometown is Atlanta, so she was there. But we found out that Liv Morgan actually chose Stephanie Vaquer, and like Final Boss equally said, Stephanie Vaquer hasn't had that many matches. We said I know we didn't say it on DW radio, but we spoke on the phone. We was like, well, we don't think Stephanie or Liv may not have a match until
All right, let me
WrestleMania.
test. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you
you
hear
hear
me?
me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. My headphone is connected. Go ahead. Mhm.
Oh, but no, I was saying that yes, but Stephanie, we were saying that we think that Stephanie and Liv Morgan may won't have a match up to WrestleMania. There's no surprise that Liv picked Stephanie. I mean, especially with the backstage thing of her crying, which we spoke about on episode 8 about on that on DW Radio a few minutes ago. You can check that out on Spotify. Um, but we said that this wasn't a shock. Will it be a decent match? Maybe I don't know. I'm suspecting maybe Liv will walk in and as not the challenger and walk out as champion, especially with them going to Italy the next show. Who would she be taking on? I don't know. There's so many people being injured, and I'd say this Final Boss, which we all know about, and I guess I would say it over the radio is WWE cannot afford doing the releases they normally do. Look how many injuries they had. Um, Naomi's out; she's pregnant. Seth is hurt. Reed is hurt. Sheamus is still hurt. You got Breaker is hurt. Who else is hurt? You got Chelsea Green, even though she's still been on screen, she's hurt. Um, who else is
Well,
hurt?
remember, and then we got to move on. But remember, Tiffany just returned back from
Yeah,
injury
yeah,
now.
Tiffany's hurt. Tiffany's hurt. So you have had a lot of injuries. So, like I said, I don't think they can afford the normal thing that we used to see where they release people right after WrestleMania. Because my God, if they do, it's going to be very concerning. What how they do that once we get done with everything. But yeah, that's just my thoughts about Liv Morgan choosing Stephanie Vaquer. I don't suspect it to be one of these all star matches. Maybe a lot of people maybe they'll watch it, but at the end they'll probably come
If
back once they.
we're And I want to walk through that because you kind of tangled in the Liv Morgan and Stephanie interaction into the vision or injury. But yeah, to kind of walk through what happened with Stephanie and Liv, I
Mhm.
like the segments because Liv, well, Dominic and Liv, that they were out there. You have Dominic, being the sweet man and saying, hey, for my, whatever he said in Spanish, about Liv, I guess it was some kind of term of endearment. I missed the term that he used. Um, We had Jade there, which is great because it really
Mhm.
put the whole idea of, hey, Liv is gonna pick today, which she did deliver on. But I really liked, well, before I even say that, you had Stephanie come out there to her very dull music. She's not even doing the fire thing anymore. This pans over and she already got her little hand up. I'm like, okay, yep. She like even she's not feeling the music anymore, but hey, she comes out there. Um, but I really liked Liv's um approach because as we talked about on DW Radio this past Saturday, we had that whole sit down interview with her and Dominic. Sorry, well, with her and Liv and Dominic being in the Liv ear and translating. Michael Cole was holding the interview. This time they played it. They did play us a clip of that interaction, and it had subtitles on there, which I don't think was a good because now we can see what she said, and it's not impactful. So I'm like, I wouldn't have done that piece. And the reason why I wouldn't have done that piece is because in this segment, where Liv has a choice, she was trying to be sincere and said, "Hey, what you said really got to me, and I really don't get tangled up in emotions, but what you said to me, it really struck a core, and you talked about your struggles and your story, and now it's time for me to work on my story." I'm like, I guess we're going with the whole finish the story like Cody Rhodes, I guess. But I felt like that would have been more powerful, even though it was powerful, but I feel like it would be even more impactful if they had not had showed that clip of their interview last week and had the subtitles on, because now we've seen what she said wasn't really that bad and touching. So it really undermining it. And I feel like there's somebody in the back who wrote the promo for Stephanie, or she decides to go ahead and make it her own and make it try and kind of make it more true to herself. But then you had somebody, a writer, go back and look at it and say, no, I really wanted to be more impactful and really more deeper than what it was. So that way we could have this whole thing with Liv and feeling, and having it touch her and having her be upset and having this whole big story. But they didn't think about doing that until after they already had the segment, even though it was already recorded. Unless, it was just weird. Now, if it was a live type of in ring segment that they had, and cool, but this was a recorded segment, and it's like, no, I wanted it to be a lot more than what it was. It's just weird. So here we are. We're playing a clip of this, and like, it's not even that deep of a promo, but I guess they want us to believe that it really is. And you had Liv Morgan cut um, this really good promo last night in the ring, to Stephanie and saying, and like I just said, what she said about how it touched her, it got to her. She understand the struggles that she faced in Chile and all this stuff. And then she, turned and, gave her that very, very good mic spot hit and knocked her out. I thought that was really great. I really loved that. Jay being the heel just looked at it and said, okay, time for me to go. You don't want me gone, bees, bye. Um, yeah, that's literally what she did. And then we got this really good beat down by Liv Morgan. Um, there's a spot where Liv did a spot where I don't know if it's a code breaker or if it's a spot she was trying to go for. Like she was trying to go for a code breaker,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
Stephanie was like by the ropes, but it's like when she hit it, she didn't fall. She just kind of stood there in the ropes. I'm like, I don't know if it was she was just stunned from the move itself, or really from that mic drop move maybe. And she kind of just stood there, and they're like, oh, okay. And then we got the Oblivion, which I'm not a Liv fan, but that's probably my favorite female move now. I wish, I don't think Liv is a good in ring person. I don't. But that move that she has, I think is the best female move currently on the roster. And I'm talking about not just on Raw. I mean Raw. Um, right along the lines of, for me, and this is going to be very, very shocking because I'm not a Nia Jax fan, but I, I would say probably the Oblivion and the Samoan drop is my favorite female moves right now.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, shockingly, yeah. So I know. So Liv does hit the Oblivion. She looks great.
Mm,
And I really liked it. I really did like the segment. It was exactly what we thought. She's gonna face Stephanie. The only thing is that it's like they wanted to be deeper than what it was, and they're trying their best to try to make us believe it's like this like she said something that was so crazy and so shocking. Like it's like they're trying to give us that whole Tiffany and Charlotte style type of a promo that they had when it was like oohs and ahs, and they're trying to make the audience believe that what Stephanie said in Spanish was man, it was so bad, and it
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but if you're gonna do that, I mean, just don't play us the clip and have the subtitles. Now you just ruined it.
Exactly.
But
They ain't gonna put a
but
subtitle in. Hey, what was
right.
that last week when I was like, what did she say? Come on, man.
hmm but I did really like this. I thought that was really good. Now, as far as what you were saying, we're going back to you now, Miami. But as far as what you were saying about um about the match between or the upcoming match between Liv and Stephanie. Hey, I don't think they're gonna have any more matches until WrestleMania, which is fine. Let's keep it safe because we got really lucky that Stephanie's injury was not a severe injury. She was good enough to only be out to only be out for really like a week and then had the boot on and then she looks like she healed up pretty nicely from it. So thank God for that. So I said, yeah, don't have them have a match until WrestleMania. Have them have interactions. They can and kind of drag out the best that they can. If they want to play into this, oh, she said something that was so devastating. Play more into that, and then we just head out to Mania. I think the match between Stephanie and Liv is going to be pretty good because one thing about Liv, I don't like her in ring ability. She does have that really good move that I like so much, was just the Oblivion, and she can sell like no tomorrow. She is probably one of the best female sellers out there. Um, and Stephanie is pretty good in the ring. She is great in the ring. So to have her be great in the ring and have a really good seller like that, which is um Liv Morgan, I think the match would be actually pretty damn good. I have a lot of high hopes for this match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Final boss. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the next topic, which I did talk to you about was these Maxine and Natalia. She's now known as low key legend. This
Mm,
match actually ended with Maxine getting knocked out by the pole. Me and you was talking about this, and I was like, man, it's not getting over this whole feud. The whole I had a lot of I'm not gonna lie to you, fun boss. I had a lot of hopes for this match
hmm
too, for
We,
these two
we all
feuds,
did.
and it's not working. I don't know what it is. It just seems like either something's missing or it's just not working. They did this spot, and I was like, okay, and I didn't like it. I know you gave me your thoughts, but it just was something that I didn't like. We'll see where it's gonna go. Maybe they'll do a match at Mania. I don't feel like they deserve one. Maybe Chamber, but I mean, if it is a Mania match, this is definitely a bathroom break right here. This is where you go get your chips, go get your items, and then you can come back and later on and watch who else. But it's fine. But I'm for real. I'm just being honest. That's no disrespect to Maxine and Natty. They're only doing what they're given, but it's not doing it for me, not just yet. And like I say, there's maybe because there's so much going on. You have the CM Punk stuff going on, you have the Gunther stuff going on, you have this Vision stuff going on. You have this Finn Balor and Judgment Day stuff going on. So maybe they don't want to push it into after WrestleMania, so people we can have something after WrestleMania. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm not liking it so far. Final balls when it comes to this. Natty and Maxine, I didn't like the spot. Like to hear your thoughts, and then we'll move on to the next topic after this.
Yes, we talked about this on Saturday about Natty and Natty's character coming over to WWE now, which is the low key legend, Natty, not Natalia, but Natty, new
Mm-hmm.
music and everything, new look. And the idea about what happened yesterday makes sense because he's supposed to be this unstoppable, like MMA style wrestler now. So the idea on paper makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because she had this whole beat down. She's gonna knock you out because this is the MMA trained in the heart dungeon
Mm-hmm.
powerhouse. But you're correct. It's not getting over. And like I said this past Saturday, it's because we have not had the opportunity to have this character build on TV. It
Yes.
went from,
Yes.
hey, I'm training MAXXINE. You can't see me. Shout out to John Cena, you know, never seen 17. Um, and then she comes and say, hey, wait, well, hey, yep, MAXXINE is going to win the championship. Didn't show up. Then MAXXINE lost the championship. Okay, cool. She got a rematch. Oh, here I am. I'm gonna be in your corner. Okay, great. First night she comes to TV to be in MAXXINE's corner. She turns on her. All right, cool. And then right into just, hey, we're having a feud. Well, we didn't build a character because you just turned on her, debuted the character, which in hindsight you can do it. That's how it should be because you make a turn and you have a brand new character, but you're not building the character. You're only fighting against MAXXINE, and we're not getting too many promos. The promos that we are getting from you is they're very short. Now she did have a short little promo, on TV. It was like for like 5 seconds. I believe it was yesterday. It was like a recorded little thing they played. And you keep doing that, but you have to have her have the other opponents. You have to have her come out and not just have all these pre-recorded things. Because I guess the idea is they want it to be like cinematic and intense, and she's in your face and she's saying things
Mm-hmm.
and she's smiling with the mouth guard in. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can have that, but you also have to have her come out to the ring and cut a standard ring on the mic promo to help build that character. Have her have other opponents. Have her wreck somebody else. But the problem is that you can't have her do it too much because of where we are in the programming, because we're close to WrestleMania. Like if we weren't close to WrestleMania, I would say have her beat down someone that's of an actual built up opponent, like a
Mm-hmm.
Becky, like a
Yes.
Liv, like a
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie. But we can't do it because if we did that, it would undermine those opponents for
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania. You can't have a beat down Liv because she's gonna have a match at WrestleMania. You can't
Mm-hmm.
have her beat down Stephanie because she's defending her title at WrestleMania. You can't have her beat down Becky because Becky is a champion and she's gonna have a match this Saturday against AJ Lee. Can't do
Mm-hmm.
it. But if it was during a different time period in the year, we could have. So that's the issue with her, is that this character came during a bad time. It came
Mm-hmm.
it came during the worst time of the year. We can't have a restart like that. If they wanted to build us up, they should have been had this character worked on months ahead of time before now, because then we'll be here now and we will have an actual good powerhouse opponent, maybe not from Mania, but at least to have this absolute dominant style figure for
Mm-hmm.
Chamber. It would have been great. It
You
would
could
have
build
been great.
you could build MAXXINE as that underdog baby face. And that's what I
Correct.
thought they were going to do. I
Hmm.
thought that's what they were going to do. I thought that was the direction of, hey, and I love that idea, doing that and making this MAXXINE where, hey, she's nowhere. I would say sort of Daniel Bryan s type. Have the fans get behind her like that, where the fans are so behind MAXXINE that they want her to beat Natty's, Natty's ass. Let's just say it, Natty's ass. That's what you want. You want that fire, but they don't got it, Final Boss. And like I say,
Hmm.
and it's like I say, it's not these two ladies' fault. It just seems like lately, with these injuries and things that's been going on, because we're thinking that it's injuries. We're going to just say injuries because most of the majority of the time, maybe a lot of stuff has been switched because of injuries. The booking has been switched because of injuries and stuff like that. But man, yesterday. It was so bad. Raw was not that good. Like I say, it started off well, and it was like you said at the beginning of the show, it was like emotional roller coaster. But other than that, let's get to our next topic, unless you have anything else about this Maxine thing.
Oh no, we can move on.
The next thing was and I was surprised this actually happened. Speaking of Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, and you were saying to me on the phone, I know you didn't say it on air, I don't think you did. It was like, man, it seems like they forgot about Raquel and they're moving on to Liv, and I was like, yeah, you might be right. And then boom, um and this qualifying match, she's actually in the chamber final balls. And I know I didn't speak to you about this, but I did speak to Greg, because we know how much Greg loves the Judgment Day. He wants all the girls to be in a group, just the girls. He don't care about the boys. He's just like, hey, do whatever you want with the boys. But I was thinking, like, maybe could Raquel win this chamber, and maybe do a whole group where everyone has a title, because Dominic has a title. Liv, I'm pretty sure
So the
Raquel.
question, so whoever wins this female chamber,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna go against Jade. Is that correct
Mm-hmm.
still?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
well, well, hey, then that tells the story right there, because that means that Raquel ain't gonna win the damn chamber. Because if Raquel wins the chamber, then she'll be over in SmackDowns. I mean, even though they float now, but she'll be mostly
Yeah. Because they was
yeah,
on Raw last
but
night.
she'll be, but no, but that was like a one off because it was a call out. But they don't, but even though they float, they're not home to there. And I don't think you're gonna be seeing Raquel in the clubhouse on Mondays if she's over there on SmackDown. So she ain't gonna win. I think she was putting this to either do two things: either one, be
Get the
that power,
powerhouse.
because she's supposed to be that powerhouse source, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like she's a powerhouse. But hey, that's the gimmick that they have for her presented to be. And two, maybe to cause some friction between her, Roxanne, her, Liv, because now she's in the chamber, and well, Liv is trying to is going for the championship, and he's trying to take a shot from her, and Roxanne is not in the chamber, so there could be some kind of weird things in there. Maybe somebody gets involved or someone turns. So there's that whole element. But she ain't gonna win the chamber, so that is out,
Yeah.
out the out of it. Now, if Liv did not make her decision yesterday, then I'd be like, "Ooh, well, we don't know because she can challenge Stephanie." But
Yeah. Yeah.
now that Liv
Yeah.
has, we
Yeah.
can't.
Well, I know sometimes, because back in the day, remember they used to do, and we were speaking about Evolution. I mean, look at Evolution, the great story where Triple H was trying to make Batista go to SmackDown just to so he could face the opponent on his own. So I mean, they could probably do some. I was thinking that they could do something like that, because lately we've been saying,
Man, they is not gonna do that with the female.
well, I know that, but I
But
mean,
that would,
well, hell, we right now they might be doing, they might shoot anything at this
but
point, but they've been booking a lot of women lately.
but remember, the reason why they even did that whole storyline with Batista, was because they really had to. Because remember, Evolution only had four members. They had Randy,
Mm-hmm.
Batista, Ric Flair,
Mm-hmm.
and Triple H. They had already
Yeah,
turned on Randy, so really the only two active competitors left was Batista and
Triple
Triple
H.
H.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to break them up. And on top of that, it was kind of played into the idea with Randy, because remember, Randy was supposed to not win the championship. He was supposed to, you know, um,
Up in the opponent.
yeah, soften the opponent up, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be a PLE, and it was going to be a match with Triple H. And
Mm-hmm.
Triple H was supposed to take the championship, but instead Randy actually won the championship, and that's why he turned. He didn't listen to what he said. So because he disobeyed Triple H, that's why we got the thumbs down and got the turn. Same thing. That's what happened with this. Is that this whole time Triple H was, really antagonizing Batista and saying he's $1 million body with a 10-cent brain. And I remember that promo for some reason so much. Yeah, I can still remember that for this day. He said
Yeah,
backstage. It was
yeah.
so weird. But
I remember
but
you.
the
I'm
same.
surprised you remember that. That was the exact thing he
Oh, yeah,
asked us.
yeah. I have a very selective memory, as we know. But um, it was like 25 years of wrestling in the head. Now I only can remember certain things. Um, but um, and then when we had the whole, with Batista, similar thing, choosing your opponent. It was
Mm,
Batista doing what Randy did, and I listened to Triple H, and there. So that's why they did that. I don't think we're gonna see that again because for that to work, it has to be like someone that has like a tag team um teammate or in a stable, which this would only work if Liv was already champion and then
yeah, yeah,
Raquel
yeah.
won. Yeah, and then she wanted her to choose the other person. She chose her, but it's not gonna work now because
Mm,
Liv is not
yeah,
champion yet.
yeah.
So
I
that so
want,
that's kind of out the window. That's unfortunate
yeah.
though.
I bet, and I bet, because we know Liv that got hurt. I wonder was that probably the initial direction. I would not be surprised if that was the direction final balls. I didn't think about that either. But yeah, we'll have to see. This Saturday will be interesting. Congratulations to Raquel Rodriguez. Like you say, she's gonna be in the chamber for the powerhouse spots. But let's move on to our next topic, which is Javon Evans took on Kofi Kingston, your favorite person, final balls. And guess what? On commentary, they said something that we be saying on DW Radio. Hello, WWE. We know y'all are listening to us. They was like a lot of people are comparing Javon Evans to Kofi Kingston, but Javon
Yep.
Evans did win this fight. I do not think that no more because and I think I don't know if we did. I said this on air, but Javon is much more a high flyer than Kofi Kingston. I think Kofi was mainly known for the WrestleMania spots, the unbelievable spots where he, did the handstands or got on the steps or jumped on the announce table or did the pancake spots or things like that. I know Kofi for that. I think Javon is going to be more known as a high flyer. So I kind of look at him a little different now, especially the spot he did with one of the American Grande members when he came off the top rope.
Whoa, wait, hold on. The reason why you're not remembering Kofi Kingston as being that high flyer is because you're
Mhm.
remembering Kofi Kingston as being the New Day member. Remember
Yeah,
what Kofi
yeah.
Kingston was before then? The boom, boom, boom.
But I even
That
though then I don't really
he was
see.
he was known as a
Really?
high flyer back then.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he was. He was. He became more grounded when he was with the New Day.
Well,
And it's
I
probably
know
also
he used
to
to
do
remember.
with
He used to do the.
age, but
I remember he used to do the SOS a lot. He used to do that one move where
yeah,
he puts his leg
yeah,
behind the back and
yeah, yeah.
but I don't really. I mean, it's been so long, but I really didn't think Kofi as a high flyer. To be honest, final balls, I looked at him as like I went a little high flying, but not that much high flying. Not as much as Javon, because Javon goes to the ropes and goes up. He reminds me more of a I don't know if you remember Evan Bourne or like the guys that who was the other guy that used to do all the
Are you talking about Neville?
I would put Neville in there. Neville was kind
I
of
would,
that
I
high
would,
flying
I would,
kind
I
of guy.
would compare his style closer to like a Ricochet, to be honest with you.
Ricochet, there you go. And I know Ricochet
Hmm.
probably be blocking us right now, but hey, Ricochet, you are a high
Yeah.
flyer. That's
Hey,
what
now
you
don't
are.
block us. Hey, I support Samantha Urban all the time. That's the one who support her music half the time. Wait a minute now.
But
Don't do that now.
but I do, yeah. Ricochet. Remember they was trying to do that moment. Oh my God, Vince McMahon booking y'all. What they was trying to do in the Royal Rumble was let's make a viral moment because they went viral when Logan Paul and him went out the ropes into each other at that Rumble. My God, but yeah, Ricochet is like there. I don't even think he's much of because Ricochet he goes to the top a lot, but not that much. I feel like Javon is in the air a lot. Pac. What about Pac? Final boss? You think him and Pac? Pac was
Devon
so
Evans, even though he high flies, the reason why he's being compared to Kofi Kingston is because he has a lot of spots where he's jumping over you.
yes,
Like
yes, yes.
he does this one spot. Like, yeah, like he's more known for that versus than doing like weird, weird. I mean, yeah, he does. He's high flyer, technically, yeah. But I more
Mhm,
know him for doing like weird, avoidance moves, jump over
mhm,
you and do
mhm,
weird kicks and stuff
mhm.
versus doing like a corkscrew off of a top rope or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's why he's compared to Kofi because that's what Kofi Kingston really actually is.
Mhm.
So that's why. So I definitely see the resemblance for me.
Yeah. Like I say, shouts out to Javon Evans. He won yesterday. He will be in the chamber too. This Saturday. Pretty sure he's gonna probably do a high spot, a high flying spot off of either one of the chambers. Probably go. I remember Kofi climbing it. I don't. Do you remember when Kofi climbed the top of the chamber and came down on the people? Do you remember that spot, Funnaballs? Back it was a long time
Mm,
ago. I think this was when COVID was
yeah, I don't
dying.
remember that spot.
Yeah, that was
Mm-mm.
way long time ago. So I went a little throwback there. But I see him probably doing something like that, maybe climbing and jumping on the people. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a crazy high flying spot. But we can't forget that EO's gonna be in the chamber women, and I know you said that EO is one of those high flyers too. So I'm pretty sure we will see her do a crazy spot. It's only so much you can do in chamber, guys. Let's remember this is like a octagon type of structure. It was designed. It's still everything has mostly stayed the same except the floor. They now because back in the day, if anyone remembers, when Umanga and them was back doing it, it was like still, and they was like when they walked around the chamber, they were saying that um it felt it was like it was crazy. It was on your feet, like it was just felt so bad on your feet that you know it was just hard to walk on the ground and chamber. So the structure has changed throughout the history of time. Even I remember back when they used to use the real glass and they went from the plastic of glass and stuff. I remember the spot that Final Boss
Plexiglass.
yeah, plastic glass where Goldberg I think he speared either Bobby Lashley or someone. He speared someone into the the plexiglass, and it was like whoa, crazy spot. So that's why they did those. That's why they made that like that. But I like the structure now. It's not too bad. Yes, do I miss them having the match be about the championship? A little, but at least a person has more than one chance to get a chance to get the title, and they win it either Rumble or Chamber. So that's why I was like, hey, keep it like that because it does give someone else an opportunity to go for the other title because we have two different titles now. But other than that, final boss, that's all I got on Javon Evans. We're gonna wind it down to our
Well,
last
well,
topic.
there's one thing I want to go into when it comes to the Javon Evans is
Okay.
because we got all of these celebrity in the crowds, right? We got Offset, who appeared through the entrance and backstage with Javon Evans.
Oh Lord, Lord.
We got Jermaine Dupri. We ain't talking
Yeah,
about
because
Miami because
it
his
was
name's
in
Jermaine.
Atlanta. Yeah, yeah, this
Atlanta.
was in Atlanta.
And we also got Bow Wow, who is grown but looked like he was back when I was like 15.
Oh
So
Lord. Wow,
He
wow.
did. He did. He
Hey,
did. He really
hey,
did.
and shouts out to somebody on Fight for Select page saying, somebody go hide Jay, man. Whoever was on the account, man, give me the phone.
But
Y'all ain't no good.
but but here but here's the thing um is that I did read on X, somebody was like, well, that's funny how Triple H is, even though there was in Atlanta, Triple H over there,
Mhm.
find all the black people to, give homage to Black history, the last run
Oh
of,
Lord,
of, of,
I
of,
didn't.
of Black
Well, I didn't
history,
even think.
man.
I don't even think. I didn't even
Cause
think of
yeah,
uh,
cause it wasn't Atlanta. That's what a lot of the
yeah,
rappers
yeah.
are. But
Well,
yeah, yeah, we
well,
got that. But
that's
it
a little
also was
racist.
kind of, but also, well, you got to think about it this way too. We got the push of talking about Javon Evans.
Hmm.
John Von Evans qualified for the chamber last week, a week after, we had the whole thing with Kevin Nash. We didn't get a chance to talk about this past week, but the whole thing with Kevin Nash came out the week later. Javon Evans is now in the chamber, and
Hmm.
now here we are. Even though we're in Atlanta, we're seeing all of these powerful black men
You
in the entertainment
know what?
industry.
It
Then on top of that is there's also
mhm.
like a weird thing to do because we know Vince McMahon, he was in court recently this time for his accident, and we still have the Janelle Grants thing, kind of out there, but right now he's going in there for his car accident. Um, but hey, the thing with Janelle Grant, and not saying this is the same thing, but we also had Offset there who, is, estranged from Cardi B. Cardi B just had a baby, and all these reports came out about how Cardi B feels about Offset and that he has been asking for money and harassing her, and all this stuff is coming out. But they had him as like the main person back, you know, for the celebrities, right? Yeah, they show Jermaine Dupri and Bow Wow in the crowd, but they actually had Offset backstage having a whole interaction with the New Day and coming out during the Javon thing. Um, but yeah, but I kind of find it weird that hey, all these things kind of have back to back. You had a few months way before the whole thing with Kevin Nash that there was some things about rumors going around about Triple H pushing black wrestlers, and then next thing we found out was they were hunting to push bodybuilders and African American wrestlers, and that's why we got all the calls that we did. That's why we got Lash Legend, and we got Trick Williams, and we got Javon Evans, and then we also got the powerhouses, like Jordan Grace. And then of course we recently got, Royce Keys, formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs. And then the thing came out with Kevin Nash, unrelated. And then the week after that, Javon Evans is now in chamber. Now then after that, now we have, then Atlanta, which is, not nothing to do with that, but we're showing all these established black men. It's kind of all around the same. It could be a coincidence, but yeah, it does kind of appear that way, which I'm fine with. I like when they show celebrities, regardless of who it is, race, sex, gender. But when they show the celebrities in the crowd, because we haven't really got that in like a long, long time. It's probably because nobody is going to the show because the show been so bad. But I do like, yeah, remember at one time every show we had people in the crowd. Now it's like even the stars not going to the shit no more.
Well, is
Um,
the show too bad or the tickets too high? Which one is it now? We got to pick one, y'all. Which one
You
is
know
it?
what? It could be both, cause
Both?
there
Gotta
was a
be.
thing that
Gotta be
came
both.
out where Bow Wow said he was broke. Remember
Well,
that?
I mean,
So,
it was a
and he
shout
still
out
made
to
it there.
Raquel. Even Raquel was saying that he had fans coming to him
And
asking, do they get
and
discounts?
and
He's like,
and and
oh
that's
man, I don't
one
need to get a
and
discount.
and that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about too, is that it was reported, that ticket sales are down about
Mm-hmm.
20% for WrestleMania around the same time this year.
And
However,
chamber.
yeah, well, for Chamber. And then also, however, because honestly, we're not even gonna say Chamber because right now TK doesn't care about Chamber for some reason this year. They care most about WrestleMania tickets. That didn't even come up in the report. I hope you know that.
Really?
But
Mm.
yeah, which is weird because last year they did. That's why they bought The Rock. This year, I don't know, not so much. It's weird.
Maybe they just gave
Um,
up.
it could have been that too. But also they talk. But also it came out that it's like up so much because they're saying before TKO took over, the average
Mhm.
price of a ticket in the nosebleed section, the worst was back in like I believe it was 2021. And it was like the average price was like $169. Then in 2024, the nosebleed seats, the average was like 360 something more dollars. Then
Mhm.
last year the average was like 500 and something odd dollars. Now this year the average nosebleed seats is like 845 some dollars. So it
Well,
hasn't. So every year, and that's with TKO only being around for like 4 years, and we're already up like 400%.
I
And
don't know if I
inside
had. Oh no, go ahead.
ticket prices, and then ticket prices.
Well, I don't know if I had this conversation with you, or it probably was one of my homeboys and my cousins and them because we all watch sports. But my cousins and them, they actually went in to the Miami Hurricanes national championship game, and they were saying the front row seat. This is the national college game. Almost was like 10K a seat. Final balls. This is a college
But
national game.
here's the thing. I understand that viewpoint because this is just a college
Hmm.
basketball versus
Hmm.
like WWE. Here's the thing.
Hmm.
It's a different audience.
Well, does it
It's a
WrestleMania supposed to be the Super Bowl? Doesn't it WrestleMania supposed
Yes,
to be this
but
big
it's a
event?
different audience. When you're looking at things like sports, yeah, here and there, you might want to hear fathers talking about, I want to take my son to a baseball game, basketball game, football game.
Hmm.
But when it comes to, but that's more like here and there now. A lot of
Hmm.
that is for adults now. Let's just be honest.
Hmm.
Most fans of
Hmm.
sports now is, for some reason, they're kind of leaning away from kids going to basketball games, stuff like that, as much as more with the adults.
Hmm.
WWE was more known, even though we had eras like Attitude Era, whatever, and ECW, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Wrestling is more geared towards children. That's why we have, the Make a Wish Foundation, and we had the
Hmm.
thing with St. Jude and the Connor's Cure.
Hmm.
Their whole market was, it's supposed to be a family event. That's why we had the whole PG era where there is a parent that has been a wrestling fan for years. They're bringing their
Hmm.
young children because they like wrestling, and they're hoping that their children will one day be big wrestling fans, and then they bring their children, and then they'll just keep growing and growing and growing, and that's how that would be. Their whole market is set to be your nostalgic fans, the ones who, want to see the pops here and there. So they'll come around on WrestleMania time, or they'll come when someone is doing a return back. And then your hardcore fans, and then your hardcore fans that have children that bring them. Hey, when you go to a store, you're not going to see some action figures and kid style toys and things for most sports. But when you go into a store like Walmart or any store that's like a big box store, what do you see? They have $20 kids size belts and action figures and toys
Hmm.
that come out of the ring because it's
Hmm.
geared towards it's geared towards children. It's,
Hmm.
it's different to have someone pay 10K, 2K, not 2K26, but 2 grand on a ticket for themselves, or maybe for a homie, or for a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, or a spouse, or a husband, or case may
Hmm.
be, versus somebody paying 10K for their ticket plus another, 10K for their two or three children, and then their husband paying another 10K for theirs.
Hmm.
It's different. It's a different market.
Yeah, and I think I think Wrestle Talk said it perfect. TKO is thinking that it's much like the UFC. They're thinking that this wrestling artist is the wrestling audience is just like the UFC artist. Which I mean, UFC fans, you always see in attendance. You always see these celebrities always come out. You see many big names like from wrestlers,
Hmm.
artists, sports
Yeah.
people.
Similar
I
to
don't think
boxing.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, same, sort similar to boxing, and I'm thinking they're thinking, and I think that's why they got your Logan Pauls. We was hearing maybe a Jake Paul would be inserted soon. You even heard me and you. We was hearing rumors about Bad Bunny, Tom Brady. They was even throwing Tom Brady name out there.
Tom Brady.
They was
Wow. Hmm.
they was throwing they was that was a rumor that's going around. They was trying to, and I kind of could see why they was doing that, so we can get a newer audience on the eye. Because I mean, imagine Tom Brady just even doing a spot at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure whoever
Hmm.
watched football, whoever watched wrestling, or don't even want to deal with wrestling, guess what? You got a new person that's going to come over and say, "Well, what is this event called WrestleMania?" And then boom, we have a new person because they might, and hopefully they will enjoy it if it's a great show. But yeah, I think TKO has to realize that this is a, like you said, a different audience. It's not the same as the UFC, the boxing or sports. We talking about like NFL, basketball. It's iffy right now, especially NBA. It seems like the WNBA is going to be better than NBA. That should be real, but those who know. But even with that, WNBA or NBA, let's even say soccer, it's not the same. So I think that's something they have to realize on down the line. If not, man, I don't know what direction we go. Pretty sure they're gonna have to do something quick, fast, hurry. Instead of having Triple H keep saying there's a new era, you got people making memes about this. That's what's in the box. He's gonna come out and say, have a sign saying we're in the new era. So that's how bad it is. It's just your running joke now, WWE. So it's something that, hey, hopefully they fix on. But we've been talking about this for what, the last 2 years. So it doesn't seem like they're gonna move on and do it. They're gonna stick with the guns and keep rolling with it, Final Boss. But if you don't have anything else, we're going to get to our last topic, and that will be AJ Styles going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna talk about the AJ Styles segment, and then we're gonna talk about how. And I think once we're done with this, with our main, well, our slash WWE's Raw's main event, which is the AJ Styles tribute, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about how we're gonna have a little discussion about how WWE has killed go home shows, and because that is a topic of our episode today. So yeah.
Um, yeah, well, throughout the
Well,
whole,
well, I
oh, go
want you
ahead.
to go ahead, because I'm gonna do something here. I want you to go
Mhm.
ahead and kind of walk us through what the actual segment was with AJ Styles. Or you want me to go ahead and do that? Pick one.
No, I was going to actually start from the beginning and then go through that.
Okay,
I was
and
going to
yeah,
go through the
yeah,
whole
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Um, actually, we actually got from the start of Raw, which was I felt was very good. It was sort of John Cena as we had a lot of videos of showing when AJ Styles was in TNA when he first started his career. When he first came to WWE, you seen a lot of they showed a lot of matches with him and Roman Reigns that I did love. You even seen the video of Roman saying that he was glad that he shared the ring with AJ Styles. AJ Styles, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Seems like he's very respected backstage. You got Bailey and them, Bailey and Liv, they call him Uncle AJ. What you say he loves, he says the only person who calls him dad is um Austin Theory, because he told Austin Theory that I'm old enough to be your dad. Um,
Yeah,
but
wait a minute now, Miami. Now I know you're old, but you know you said this on Saturday, right?
yeah, I know I'm
Oh,
billing him.
okay. Because I'm like,
I'm
because we
billing
over
him
here have
forward.
that. Oh, okay. 'Cause we having deja vu right now. I'm like, didn't
Yeah.
I hear that?
Well,
Am I in the wrong episode? Am I on
well,
Saturday's episode? I had to make sure.
this is
Oh,
stuff
okay.
that we're building up.
Oh,
But
okay,
I
okay.
something that I found interesting, which I didn't. I wish they would have did. We got the Good Brothers that was on camera final balls. Now I'm not gonna say they are back in WWE, but they was back on WWE camera. We seen the Good Brothers with Michin backstage. That was very good. We didn't see him come out when um AJ was on camera once he went out to the ring, but we he did get some TNA stars. I text you and told you we had got some TNA stars, which we didn't see them in the ring once AJ came out. But like I say, throughout the night they had got a lot of videos. We had a lot of people they showed who was gonna be coming out, I guess, to tell AJ, give him his farewell. So AJ comes out. They played a phenomenal AJ Styles music. And he just, gets the hometown crowd, they're cheering it for AJ and stuff. And he says the reason why he didn't take off his gloves at Royal Rumble because he wanted to do it in Atlanta. Um, which I was like, I was just waiting because I think me and Final Boss was thinking the same thing. Cause by Gunther leaving, we was like, okay, Gunther's coming back. I was like, I know it's not gonna make sense. They should not do it, but and then maybe this is how much I'm gonna miss AJ. I think I'm glad I kind of was thinking this because now AJ's gone. I'm like, man, we're gonna miss him. But I was thinking that maybe Gunther was gonna come out, but as AJ was doing his speech, he takes off his jacket, he takes off his gloves, he sits him in the middle of the ring. The crowd is still going wild. Next thing you know, which Final Balls didn't understand why this happened, but hey, it's a dead man. It's the Undertaker. The lights gotta go out, even though he was on his bike. Final Balls. It's the Undertaker. He's not the dead man. He's still the Undertaker, but still, comes out on his bike. Once the lights come back on, he gets in the ring. And I thought right away, I text Final Balls because the way Undertaker said that, are you just gonna leave this here? That he was talking about his jacket and his gloves. I should not probably jump the gun. I text Final Balls, say, oh, they're gonna do AJ Styles versus Undertaker, I guess. But Undertaker does his speech and basically tells him that he's in the Hall of Fame. You and I did see Sunshine's tweet saying that it seems like, I guess, the Undertaker's the Grim Reaper of telling you in the Hall of Fame, which I do like they did this. It made me feel sort of like a NFL Hall of Fame, or how they induct those guys into the Hall of Fame, where the Hall of Famers come to your house and say, we'd like to welcome you into the Hall of Fame. So it gave me that type of vibe. From what I'm understanding, Final Boss, and it did seem like AJ didn't know because you can kind of see he was kind of tearing up, and his family was tearing up. They said they did not tell AJ or anyone in his family about what was going to happen. So we did get a authentic reaction from AJ Styles and his family. I did like the way they did this. I don't know if it would be John Cena who would be inducting him. You said you felt like it should be Taker that inducts him because that was the last person that he had faced. In your favorite match, the Boneyard match. Yes, Final Boss loves that match for some reason, for so much. But yeah, I like the way they did it. With the Taker coming out telling him that he was now the newest person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, with Stephanie McMahon. I don't know who else will be added with these guys. We still got a whole month left. I'm pretty sure we'll probably add maybe one more person. Who that will be, I don't know. But hey, so far, not a bad Hall of Fame class with Stephanie McMahon and the phenomenal AJ Styles. I love to see where we go next. Will he take a backstage role? Will he go to TNA, help those guys out for a while? Or just do his retirement. We see him later on down the line. We did find out that he does want to tag with his son, which I did not know that his son was actually trying to train to be a wrestler. But that's something that he said he would like to do later on down the line. But I did like the segment. I don't know if this was the one thing that drove Final Boss over the edge, but other than that,
Yeah, and
Final
you
Boss
better
was
drag me over the edge because that is not what I told you to do. I told you to go through the segment, and that's not what we got. So let me
well,
go ahead and do it because you
I'm
better
not gonna go
drag me
through
to
the. I'm not
the
going through the whole segment word by
edge.
word. That was just he came out. He did the Hall of Fame speech. He took off his gloves. He took off his jacket. Undertaker came out and just basically told him you're in the Hall of Fame. That's all that really happened. All he did was do a speech saying that he
No,
didn't
it's
take off
okay.
his
I got it.
glove
Um,
at
but yeah,
WrestleMania. He wanted to
it's
do it in Atlanta. What else I'm
yeah,
missing?
well, yeah,
Ain't nothing
which
else
he did
special happened
do.
after that.
But
What
I'm gonna
happened
go
special
ahead
after
and
that?
but I'm gonna go ahead and
What
do my
happened special?
job
Okay,
and
well
do
tell
my
us what
justice
special
here.
happened in
Yes,
Queen.
yes.
What special happened after
So for
that?
those who
What happened
didn't
special
see it,
after
I had to
that?
go ahead and walk people through because you know I'm a big fan of the walkthrough. Right? I like to walk people like through the
Yeah.
house.
Tell us
It's
what
a
happened
part.
so special other than that. Please tell us. We're all open ears because ain't nothing else special after that.
Complete. Hey, to be honest, you always talking about something that you just said on Saturday
Hey,
about
well, I can't help
how
we had
people
that.
said,
I
and that
can't help.
had
I
nothing to
can't help
do
we
with
had
that.
back
Now,
to
to
back
those who,
DW radios.
people
They
who,
done put it all together.
those people already heard that our fans
Well,
are returning
they
in Miami.
ain't
They
go to
already
Spotify
heard
to listen to
that.
it. They ain't
Yes,
go to
they
Spotify to listen
did.
to it.
Yes, they did. They went on X
They
to listen
put
to
it
it.
in the
Yes, they
comments.
did.
But they was on
Yes, they
X, man. They
did.
don't remember. People got selective memory like me. They probably don't remember. That was 3 days ago. Shoot.
Oh my
All
jeez.
y'all old people. We
Nah, ain't
old
nobody old here
people. We
besides
old
us. But
people.
yeah, but to walk us through, I was really excited because they then said, hey, we're gonna have it at the end of the show. We're gonna have this AJ Styles tribute. You had Michael Cole say, during right before one of the last commercial breaks, we're gonna have it coming up, very soon. Um and we got AJ Styles come out. He came out, did his full entrance, which I really liked. Um, and he came out, did his full entrance. He gave a nice long speech, and he really kind of put everything that we thought he was gonna do to bed. He said, "Hey, I know there was a lot of people asking me about taking the gloves off, put it back on. The reason I did is because I wanted to do it back home. He wanted to take them off in Atlanta, so he took off his jacket and his gloves and left them in the ring. He talked about how he did everything that he wanted to do in this business besides be one thing, and that was to be a full-time dad. They pointed and the camera pans over to his family, which I thought was nice and it was great. We got all the stars come out, on on the entrance ramp. I was there clapping, doing like they always should do when they do a tribute. I was a little bit upset because, like Miami had mentioned, they did show a bitch and Frankie Kazarian come out, but they didn't show them on the entrance ramp. They showed the Good Brothers, but they didn't show them on the entrance ramp. They show almost, who I haven't seen in a long time. According to Miami, he's doing things AAA, but I don't watch that. But they showed him, and again, didn't show him on the entrance ramp. Um, which to me, it was a big deal for Abyss because, hey, I love the Abyss when he was in TNA. He was supposed to do a whole thing back in the day with WWE, with him wrestling, and it never it never happened. So he's there now. He's been there for a couple of years, but only as a producer role. Apparently, he's a pretty big producer backstage. But to have him actually come and he's having like the mask and everything that he wore during his TNA days, to me was it was cool. I was like, oh man, and this is gonna be pretty good. And the fact that we had the Gunther angle earlier on in the start of the show, I thought we were really going somewhere. But no, it was just a regular tribute. No one said anything. besides AJ Styles, which I thought was kind of odd. I thought they would have more people saying things similar to what Miami said was taking place. With people giving their respects the previous week, but we didn't really get that too much. They did do a couple of highlights in between um, the show, but I thought we would see much more highlights and more video packages throughout the show, and we didn't really get that. Um, but then, he said his thank yous, he said his goodbyes. He stood on the top of the rope. We got the credits rolled. I'm like, well, I'm pissed. It's done. But then the lights go out and we hear the famous dong and everyone screams. And I'm like, oh shit, we're going somewhere. Uncle comes out because he then came out to his badass music, American badass music, and we got the hey hey, and then he rolls out um on his bike. He looked great on the bike because he can actually ride his bike, unlike drunk Stone Cold who going to crash into the barricade and hurt fans. Um, but yep, yeah, hey, remember that? Remember that? That was pretty bad. Um, but I'm thinking actually, I don't think it came. I don't think it came out on his bike, and he got in the ring, looked like Undertaker, but the glasses is all crooked because he's all old now. Look super old now. And I felt like it was going somewhere because he was like, hey, we got unfinished business because as Miami just mentioned, that was Taker's last match. It was my favorite match, the Boneyard match. During the pandemic. Um, and he said we got unfinished business. This crowd absolutely screams. He said, and then he said, "You're gonna leave your stuff here. We got unfinished business." One ticker says to AJ Styles. AJ Styles just looks in shock and looks puzzled. Crowd goes nuts, starts screaming because we think we're going somewhere. Miami is saying to me, "Hey, you know what? They're gonna do Taker versus AJ Styles." And I'm like, they can't really Taker. He goes, "Yep." And for real, and honestly, I thought they were gonna go ahead and do that because of the line that he said. He said, "Hey, we got unfinished business. You're not going to leave your stuff here." So, and it was like, nope, 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 swerve, psych, just playing. So there is a saying that, when you see someone, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something about, oh, if you see someone, coming, then you're going, but I want to go ahead and change that. When you see me, you're already gone. And I just say he says that because he's a dead man. So he's like a Grim Reaper. And hey, once you see him, it just means that your career is over. So I'm here to announce that you are in the Hall of Fame. And AJ went from being sad to being actually very, very happy. He looked happy. He hugged Taker. Um, he's super happy. Taker leaves the ring. In comes in AJ's family, and then we go off. And that was it. And that was it. So there's no question.
Like I said.
Yeah, but yours wasn't good. But um,
This is what you get when you deal with pretty girls, y'all. This is what you get when you deal with somebody that's just you. I just said
and yours, but yours wasn't good. You said like came out there, he took a stuff out there, came out.
you know that.
Okay.
Have you seen that video online where the guy his wife was picking out the tangerines? I guess they was tangerines. It was some type of fruit.
Tangerines.
I think it was
Okay.
like orange tangerines or something. And
Mm-hmm.
every time she was looking for the good ones, the right ones. And
Oh yeah, that's
every
awesome. Yeah, make sure they're hard and stuff. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the one she puts in the bag, he'll get it out the bag and give it to her. She'll put it back down, and she just picked that one. That was just you. I'm gonna see when I send that video. I'm gonna send it to you. That's what you just did to me. You know what?
Okay. Well, hey, learn how to do things. So you know what? Because you assume that everybody watch Raw, which they should, but they don't
Well,
have. But some people don't want to because it's so bad, or because you got to have a million two different platforms to watch it, and
and this, I think
or
this is
or
oh yeah, that's a million. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
hold on,
NBA.
or you assume that everyone is watching CJ's EVPs, the Golden Boys recap, which again they should be, but some people,
Exactly. That's what
may
I'm
maybe
giving them
sleep.
the option to go
So
to
that's
their
why
show.
I kind of throw that
Like,
in here to
okay,
know
what are
where
we
we're
doing?
going. You know,
What are we doing? Why
so
y'all not going to EVP's recap? You should be going to that.
they're probably tired because it went on. It's late.
I know.
Um,
I know.
But
I know.
yes, but yeah. So we assume all these things, and people are like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Until it came out." Yes, he came out.
Oh
Um,
Lord. You
but
hated that little when they turn up the light. Why they turn up the lights? I'm like, fun
you
balls
know,
just be fun.
yes, and that was part of my frustration, and that's why who those who follow me, which y'all probably don't, but you should. But that's why I said, on the timeline, like, did they really have to go ahead and do that? Did they really have to go ahead and do that? They could have just had that man on the apron with everybody else,
So
up there clapping. And they could
was
have just
my
announced that, like, they could have had that man announce from the apron,
so you didn't want
he
a
could just,
gun or nothing. You just
no,
wanted it to announce it.
he could have just did the whole thing and said,
Oh, come
hey,
on. What kind of style is that, Final Boss? Come on.
he could have just said it from the thing. You over here, and then
Come
they're gonna tease like it's gonna be one last match, and it's not. I just thought it was distasteful. I thought it was really distasteful. That crowd was absolutely nuts when they heard him say that line about we got unfinished business and all this stuff, and it was just a sight. Nope, not really. Like I thought it was really distasteful. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I thought it wasn't. I didn't like that. And the fact that this is not a regular episode of Raw. Yeah, it was in Atlanta. Cool. And I see why they did it because it's AJ. In Atlanta and everything. It's from Gainesville, Georgia. So I get all that. But at the same time, it's like, this spot now has taken up the main event of Raw, which it should, but it's taken up to a main event of a Raw that is a go home show for the last PLE before Mania. And and to do this and not, you know, follow up on it to me is the way they did it. It was just not good. Like why have Gunn to come out there and do this whole thing, this whole heel thing during the first 5 minutes of the show to get beat down by Dragon Lee. Then gonna go ahead and tease it by having this tribute be the main event of Raw, aka the last Raw before Chamber, the go home show, aka the last PLE before the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania. And then there's nothing else. There's nothing like there is nothing else. It's just a straight tribute. I mean, I didn't like the idea. I'm sad that, AJ left. And I'm sad that everything we thought is just he's just gone now. He's not doing another match. He took off the glove just because he put it back on just because he wanted to do it in Atlanta, which is fair. But now all that hope, hopes and dreams is gone. It was reported that at first, he wasn't even going to retire at a Rumble. He was gonna stay actually a bit longer, but what happened is that they couldn't reach a agreement before the show because he was actually scheduled. He was gonna actually win at first, but they couldn't come to agreement about extending his contract, so they decided just to have him lose and retire. Um, uh, AJ did kind of hint towards that last night when he said, it was symbolic to me because I debuted 10 years ago at Rumble and I ended my career at Rumble, which and does make sense, but I mean, this is where we're at now. So he just gone. So for me, it fell flat. It reminds me kind of like the Cena's last match uh tribute. It was nothing special. He lost clean. Triple H came out and said, look, and showed him some highlights. And oh, here we go. And now he's retired. Same thing with Goldberg. Goldberg, came in, he had the last match with Gunther, it was for a title at a Saturday night main event and he lost clean and then he did have a nice entrance, the original entrance, and had everyone come out and spoke for about a minute, and they cut him off, and hey, bye. Um, it just kind of gives me, it just doesn't, it just felt flat, and if they would have done this right after the Gunther match with AJ Styles, it would have been great. I guess they couldn't do it because they weren't in Atlanta, but they should have thought about that before, man. They should have just did this the week after, the Monday, like the Monday after, had it in Atlanta, have him have a really good tribute, and just be done with it. The fact that right after um right after Sunday Night Main Event that Monday, you had Gunther come out to AJ Styles music, and kind of made fun of him, and troll him, and then we had the whole thing with him and Dragon Lee, and then here come this week once again, he's come out there doing this whole making fun of AJ Styles, Dragon Lee again. Go ahead and does a beat down, and then for what? It's just a regular tribute at the end of the day. We're not getting another rematch. We're not getting anything else. And the fact that you want to go ahead and kind of have go ahead and tease and say, hey, we're gonna have something else coming up, psych. Is just, to me, it was just distasteful to me.
Well,
I thought it was bad.
let's get to that because it seems like you're ready
Hmm.
to talk about our main event topic that everyone I feel like is came here for, and is WWE is killing the go home shows. I'll let you go ahead and take off and give us your thoughts about why is WWE killing the go home shows.
Well, the reason why people come is wasn't because of our main event. I mean, no, they came here to have us argue, and to have me go ahead and kill the radio all the time. What are you talking about? You know
Uh,
that. That's why they came. They came
you,
here to have me antagonize you the entire episode. That's why people
well, you,
come.
well, you do that every day, so maybe we
Eh,
need UPW radio every day. Then how about
No, that ain't gonna happen. Now, at that point is when I'm gonna retire, like, for real. Like, I'm not even joking now. But yeah, just go ahead and give me the good old Gunther retirement. Just go ahead and we'll just have me
Oh
retire.
Lord.
Right, we'll have me retire right on the
Are you gonna
radio.
leave your little diamond in the middle of the ring right
Yeah,
then and
yeah.
there?
I'm gonna leave my diamond in the
Are
middle,
you,
in the middle of the
are you
podcast.
gonna
Just
wait till
leave
we
it
get to
there.
New York? Are you gonna wait till we get to New York and say, "Oh, well, I wanted to do it once we got to New York"? Which one
Yeah,
you gonna
yeah,
do?
yeah. And then I'm gonna have you play the little diamond spinner at the end of the
Oh Lord!
podcast, man. I'm gonna do that. Like,
But give us your thoughts about why you feel like the go home shows are being killed now.
well, I was really excited. Like I said, throughout this whole, how long has it been? An hour, 2 hours? Oh, 2 hours, 10 minutes. There you go, right there. Look at God. Um, when I said that throughout the whole episode, I posted it on my timeline. It's giving me 2000s vibes because we had um Michael Cole and Corey Graves in the ring and said, "Hey, this is welcome to WWE Raw in Atlanta. This is a tribute for AJ Styles." And they started talking, and then they had Gunther interrupt. I was like, "Man, this is giving me real old school 2000 vibes. Like, this is like a Raw of the 2000s where you have a really good segment in the end. You have a whole bunch of mixed kind of segments between okay and better than okay, mid card, in the middle somewhere, maybe a match or two for the women's, which now that was a little bit unfair because the matches for women were short because that was, of course, before the ribbons, revolution. But we'll kind of have that. And then at the end, we'll have our major um, main event match or segment. And then we'll have that overlay when it would go over that 8 minutes, because that was a tradition that WWE was doing since WWF days. And we'll have that cliffhanger. And then they'll play the note, and they'll play the closing credits, and we'll have that cliffhanger. That's how Raw used to be back in the day now, and that's kind of how I was feeling, especially when they announced they were going to have AJ Styles tribute at the end. I felt it even more that way when they played the credits and then the answer came out. I was like, oh, there's your cliffhanger now. Because I thought they were going to end it by saying, I got the unfinished business and you're going to leave your stuff here. I thought it was going to be our cliffhanger. But instead, we got him announced for, Hall of Fame, which is good, but we got that. I mean, this was the go home shows back then used to always have a really good angle. Here we are with a go home show for Chamber, the last PLE before WrestleMania. I'm gonna go ahead and say it one more time. The last PLE before WrestleMania. Let me say it one more time for real. The last PLE before WrestleMania. That means the next go home show we're gonna have, besides SmackDown, of course, will be the go home show of WrestleMania. Oh, just let that sink in for a second. Years ago, we used to end these go home shows with an angle or we end it with a hanger, and we'll be talking about it. This time around, there was none. What was our topics today? Oh, well, okay, I guess the Liv and Stephanie stuff was good. Okay, that's okay, cool. But we're talking about what? About how Natty's low key legend gimmick is not getting over. She don't have a match at Chamber.
I mean, hell, I can't even. Who's having
Maxine Maxine don't have one at Chamber.
Men and women on Chamber, and Becky. That's it. If I'm correct, right? Those are
yeah, for the women, yeah.
So there's only three matches I think is on the card, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no, because we also have the Punk and Finn.
Oh yeah, well, okay, my bad. I forgot about Punk and
but yeah. Okay, and then what else was talking about for this go home show? About how Bronson Reed got injured? Really?
I mean,
so the only takeaway we really actually have is really the Brock Lesnar open call and the stuff with Stephanie and Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we totally forgot about the whole promo that Punk said about Finn, which we forgot about to mention that during our little rundown. So I guess that wasn't on the list, which I thought was really good, by the way.
Really?
I like that. Yeah. I thought it was good. I love the fact when he leans between the ropes and the camera comes in front of him. I love that. But we're not talking, about any of that.
Well, I think the reason why we're not talking about Punk and Finn is because I think everyone's waiting for Roman and Punk again. We know that.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Yeah, and I agree with that. But the whole point is that this is the last, PLE upcoming before WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year. This is the last go home show besides, of course, SmackDown, which is a real go home show. The next go home show we're going to see besides that will be the go home show of Mania. And we're not talking about oohs and ahs of Chamber. We're not talking about oohs and ahs of what could happen at WrestleMania. The only thing we're really getting from it is about how AJ. So you're going to leave with AJ Styles tribute. Not saying that Styles is not great because it's absolutely great. It's phenomenal. But this real. I mean, for me, you could have still had the AJ Styles, tribute, but this would have been a whole lot more for a go home show. This is not caliber. This episode, if this was going to be for a regular Raw or even a Raw of a different go home show for like a Saturday night main event or a different PLE, I would have gave it a pretty damn good grade. I would have gave it probably a B plus. But for this type of magnitude of where we are in the year when it comes to WrestleMania and what this go home show is to me it's bad. This would have been a regular Raw back in like 2009. Hey, we got the goddamn term of. I mean, I know, we talk about evolution, not because now I feel about evolution, but hell, we got the turn on Randy Orton on Raw, on a regular Raw. I mean, technically, it was kind of a go home show because he's supposed to have his match with PLE, but we got on a Raw. We got the turn of Batista on a Raw. We don't even get that kind of stuff now on on a Raw or on a SmackDown, and it kind of undermines the fact that you had Roman say to Punk last week, I could choose you because you're on the best show. You're on the Raw on Netflix. Well, I can't tell that anymore. I can't tell that now. Is it really the best show, or is it just slightly better than the SmackDown because that one is just so bad?
Yeah, SmackDown is way better than Raw. Let's just be real.
Yeah, but that's not what Tribal Chief said. Tribal Chief said you're on the best show, Punk. We on Netflix now. I hope you
Well,
know that.
that's because you got Roman. Well, that night when Roman and Punk did that, that was maybe, let's
Hmm.
just be honest, that was, and we said it on DW Radio, that was the best
Hmm.
thing on Raw. Let's just be
Yeah, yeah,
real
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
that night. So let's just be real. But let me
Mm.
run down the card. You have Becky versus
Okay.
AJ. You have Punk
And,
versus
and that's for the title.
yeah, that's for the women's IC
Mhm.
title. You have Punk versus Finn Balor. That's for the heavyweight title, the world heavyweight title for Raw. You have the men's chamber. You have the women's chamber. Um, well, I'm up to 4 matches, 5 matches. I think that's 5 matches. So I think that's all we have. So those are your matches for chamber. So think
Which
about
is,
it.
which is standard because most of the time you usually have between 2 to 3 matches, and then Chamber takes up the bulk of that.
Yeah, yeah. Which yeah, like yeah, which is true. Um
Hmm.
Now who all is in chamber? You have Jay Uso, Javon
Yeah,
Evans.
because Jay just qualified. Hmm.
Yeah, you have your boy Trick Williams, who you love so much.
Hmm.
Who I did see your tweet
Hmm.
say that he can trick on you.
Tricky.
So Trick Williams is
Yeah.
this final boss. Say you
You
can
know
trick
how I
on.
feel. You know how I feel about tricks.
Yes. You have Randy Orton, which you feel like
Hmm.
Randy is very mid card, which is shocking to me.
I know.
You have Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes, and I forgot, final boss, that LA Knight was in this match. What the hell is that LA Knight been at the last couple of weeks?
Well, I
A
don't know
day.
how you forgot. He's on the poster.
Well, that's when I remember when they put out the post. They had to remind me that way. I ain't seen the
Well,
man in
hey,
so
hold
long.
on now, hold
Well,
on now. I don't
I
know if
know
you
why
read
he's
that
not been
poster,
involved
but
because
that
the
poster
business is
said it's a
hurt.
star,
God
it's a
done.
star, it's a star-studded event. What that poster said. I hope you know that.
Okay, once again, I'm just running down the men's, and this is no disrespect to the qualifiers or the people that are in the chamber. Jay Uso,
Mm.
we know how people feel about Jay. People hate Jay for some reason. Javon Evans, who's an upcoming star who just came from NXT. Like I say, we just know the things that was going on with him and Kevin Nash. He is the high flyer, which I feel like he's going to bring that. Trick Williams, who I'm very proud they're doing, but man, I don't know how long they're going to keep this push on because once they're done with him, I'm just really worried. They're giving him the push early. Like I say, I don't mind it. It's just I don't know if they're going to keep that on him. He has it, but I don't know if TKO is going to see that. But we'll see. You have Randy Orton, who you said feels like has been mid card. Guess what? Aleister Black pinned Randy Orton, final boss, this past Friday.
Yep.
Let me repeat that again. Aleister Black pinned Randy Orton, 14-time champion Randy Orton. So you're not mishearing what we're saying. Cody Rhodes,
Oh,
who's
he's
not.
only on 14. I thought it was like on 15 or something now.
No, I think he's on 14 because
Really? That's
I
it?
think him, I think him and Triple H are tied. If I'm not mistaken, I might be saying it wrong, but I think
I'm
no,
gonna have to
yeah,
look it up. I
no,
thought it was.
no, he's 14. He's got to be 14. Yeah, he's 14 because he needs
I'll
to
look it
win
up.
4 to tie with
Hmm.
Flair. So yeah, he's 14. I see the comments blowing up, and I'm not even looking at it, but I'm pretty sure he's 14. But and we don't have Greg in here, but yeah, okay. See, CJ said 14, so okay, I was right without even looking. But and you have I said Cody Rhodes, which I mean, and me and CJ, we talked about this earlier when he called me today. We both said it's either gonna be Randy or Cody, but you have LA Knight. And once again, I forgot LA Knight was in this match. I forgot he was in this
He's on the
match.
poster.
That's how I found out. I keep telling you, that's how I found out. Now I understand why I forgot, because Vision kind of his story was kind of tied with Vision, and that's not on LA Knight fault, but he's tied up with the Vision, and the Vision is hurt. So that's that. Now the women's side, we have Raquel Rodriguez, who you said won yesterday. She's the powerhouse. You have
Oh,
Asuka.
so Drew McIntyre don't have a match.
No, no, Drew
Mm,
McIntyre does not have a match. Um, you
mm.
have because the person who's going to be facing Drew in that men's chamber, that's who's going to be facing Drew. So that's basically the story. Unless they, and I know they're not going
Oh, that makes sense because that's why Jay don't have a match.
to Jay who.
Jade.
Oh yeah, well
That's
yeah,
why
yeah, yeah,
Jay
yeah,
don't have a
yeah,
match because
yeah,
whoever
yeah,
win gonna face her. That's why
yeah,
Drew don't have a match because whoever gonna win gonna face
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But wait, because no, because Stephanie don't have a match.
Well, that's true too. But hey, I guess they don't want
Okay,
to get
never
her.
mind then. So that theory is out the window. Never mind.
Yeah, they don't want they'll probably want nobody to get hurt, like you said. So that goes out there. But like I say, you got Raquel, Asuka, Kalani James. You have Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and you have Tiffany, who just came back. That's on your women's side, Final Boss. And uh
Oh, so no Charlotte, no Tiffany.
no, well, Charlotte lost. Remember, Charlotte lost to
Oh
Kalani James.
yeah, yep. Last week, yep.
Yeah, that was a shot. I was guaranteed. I was like, well, Charlotte's gonna get in here because maybe he was gonna do something, a sort of type of angle with her and Alexa, maybe. Um, but I think the person that wins this, and CJ just said it, is Rhea. It has to be either Rhea or Tiffany. Maybe Tiffany, but I don't see them running it back, Tiffany and Jade. Um, if they want to go somebody new, Alexa Bliss, because maybe they want to. It's been so long since they gave Alexa that push, but I like the
What about
little.
Jordan Grace?
I, no, Jordan Grace is not in this match. Grace is not in this match either. She's and I think Grace is now finna go for the she's having a feud with Johnny Gargano's wife. Why can't I think of her name off the top of my head? I don't know why my mind's going blank right now, but his wife. So she's gonna get ready to be in a feud with her. So that's going on. So Jordan Grace has moved on to something else now. So no, Jordan Grace is not even in
Isn't
this
it
match.
like Candice LeRae? I believe is the name.
Candice LeRae, that's what. There you go. I don't know why my mind went blank for some reason when it came to her. I was like, I couldn't think of her name. Candice LeRae, yeah. So she's feuding with her. So the women that's in this match, man, I mean, Alexa Bliss, Rhea, and Tiffany maybe are the ones that stand out the most for me. Raquel,
And
no,
no Selena Vega.
no, hell, Zelina Vega hasn't been in the title picture since that when they went to Puerto Rico. That was back
Since
when Rhea Ripley was in the
yeah.
match, was the
Mm,
title. So Zelina, they have her with Aleister Black. So,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
I said, Aleister Black just beat Rhea Randy Orton. So who knows? They might finna get ready to push down. Who knows? But yeah, I agree with CJ. I have Rhea probably winning this. I don't see him running it back with Tiffany. It, Alexa is my sleeper. I'm not gonna lie with because right now they're probably gonna throw everything to the wall. Final boss. So that's your match. Those are your matches for this chamber. Punk. No one's believing Punk and Finn. Finn is gonna beat Punk. Will Becky get beat by AJ Lee? They keep saying AJ's from
But I feel like it's not going to be a clean thing though, because we had that whole dissension with Judgment Day. Remember what
yeah,
Finn
yeah,
said
yeah,
last,
yeah,
what Finn
yeah, yeah,
said yesterday was like, oh, maybe
yeah.
you need to start doing things on your own because when you were hurt, no one helped me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So they're gonna come out there and try to help him, and what they're gonna cost him.
yeah, I think so. Um, but other than that, I don't see nothing else happen. I said Cody's probably
Mm.
going to pin Randy, and he's going to pin Jay because they was people that he tagged with, his old friends, and that's the story you can kind of show where this is where he's not your friend. He already pinned Sammy. You might as well WWE go ahead and let him pin Randy and Jay and show that he's going to be this bad guy, but he's trying to tell us and the wrestlers that he's still a good guy, but we see that he's a bad guy. I think that will be the story in the
And this
chamber.
is a side piece. It's clearly off topic. 'Cause I know we passed it, but I just find it also like bad that we didn't have John Cena here for the AJ Styles tribute.
Well, like I said, I think that's why a lot of people are speculating that he might be inducting him. John has been busy. I mean, he's back
Mm.
doing movies and stuff, so I don't think they could have got him. And then it's in Atlanta, final balls. Do you see John Cena actually? Maybe if it was in Boston, maybe,
Hmm.
maybe LA, maybe they could have got him because it's a little close to, Hollywood. Maybe they could have got him, but I don't see
Hey,
him.
but at least they got Undertaker to come out though. I guess
Oh
hey, at least they
Lord.
had that. I guess.
Oh Lord. But yeah, I think this is where we start getting Cody's story of showing where he's gonna kind of show that heel
And
type of
and Triple H,
fight.
he ain't, and Triple H didn't do a big thing and it come out there like that. He came out there for Cena, but not for.
WWE, we need Hornswoggle to be in the damn box now, aka Miami the Great said that. Yeah, don't
I mean,
forget
I
that.
don't know what's gonna. Well, hey, whatever they have now, if it was vision related, it's changed now because of the injury. So we don't
It's gonna
know.
be Hornswoggle. He's
Oh,
getting
I
a
don't.
Undertaker gonna come to the box and say you're getting
Well,
inducted to the
I think
Hall
now,
of
even if,
Fame.
well, it also gives me a little bit of faith now with that box, just because of what happened with Bronson Reed. He's injured, so even if the box was going to be nothing of note, they were probably still going to have the betting on the Vision, being main stars, and the betting on the whole idea with the Masked Man. But now that we are just crossroads now with the Vision because everyone is out. Now it's like you're gonna have to make that box something now because we can't do the Masked Man anymore.
Yeah,
We can't do a Braun Breaker thing anymore. We can't do a Bronson Reed thing anymore. So.
yeah. We don't know, but we will see this Saturday. Y'all guys, please join us on Twitch. We will be streaming live on Twitch, watching the PLE. So you guys can come and join us over there. That's DWE _ watch _ along. You will get the DWE old school flavor of what we used to do, how we
Old
used to do
school.
watch party. Yeah, the old school flavor. Those who are fans
Old
of our
school.
way we used to do it on X. I mean, that's what we'll be doing on Twitch. So that will be available to you on Twitch. So please give us a follow on Twitch. Please give my co-host a follow. That's Final Boss Baby, 2B's 1Y CFO, as you see in her name. And down below, you can give me a follow. That's Miami the Great 305. And you can give our Talk It Up page a follow. That's
305, 305, not 205 live because that's canceled.
Is it? I mean, yeah,
Oh
I would
yeah,
be
hell yeah,
surprised.
yeah, 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 yeah. They canceled 205 live back when they brought out Speed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Jeez. But please give us a follow on Twitter. That's Talk It Up Podcast. And also give our Talk It Up page if you're on our YouTube. We're live now on YouTube. That's Talk It Up Podcast on
Oh,
YouTube.
we on the YouTube.
We're on the YouTube. Next week we will be back on.
Hey, look at me. I'm on
Back,
YouTube. It's DWTV for real. Hey, I'm on TV. Yo, 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 yo.
we'll be back on Twitch, and also we'll be back on YouTube. Also, we'll be streaming live from the Talk It Up page next week. Final Boss will probably have a blue check, and we'll be streaming from her page. So you guys give her a follow because
Yeah, yeah,
we
and we're gonna be like WWE because we're gonna have you guys have all these platforms. We're gonna have all these pages and Twitch and YouTube and Spotify and Edge.
yeah.
Hell, we might even have Instagram and Facebook Live. Shit, TikTok. You gotta have all these stuff. We're gonna be like
Well,
TKO. You need
I
like
mean,
20 different things.
but WWE does it, so it can be from and it's kind of smart because that gives you like different things. So a lot of people like different type of apps, so it gives you whatever you like going on. Like Red loves Twitch; he loves being on Twitch when he does be
I
on.
don't have that.
Yeah, I know you tell me every time. Hopefully he gets well soon. Shouts out to our golden boy EVP. Please join him tonight as he's going to be recapping the NXT. We're a few minutes away from NXT, so shouts out to everyone. If there are NXT fans in here, please join him tonight on the recap. He will be live from my page or his page, so please join him tonight for that. And also give our After Slam guy a slam. Don't forget that he's doing a $15 raffle. Yes, that is still going on where you can win this
It's the
WWE
last week.
Classic. Huh? Is it?
It's the
I
last
thought.
week because it
Oh,
ends on the first,
okay.
right after Chamber. So you
I
gotta
got.
do it now. So
I
hurry up. So
do
please
it.
take your last paycheck for this week. Hold on, because if you get paid Friday, you can still enter it. Cause you gotta do it before the first. So please take your
Now,
last check
this is
and
yes.
and and and, and, and make sure you do it now.
This is what you have to do. You have to subscribe to the Talk It Up podcast page, YouTube, and you have to subscribe to the EVP show and After the Slam podcast on YouTube. And then once you subscribe, you put your $15. You go down here and do your you do the code down here. I will take this off so you guys can see it. You scan that
QR
code.
code.
You scan that QR code, scan it, and then that will take you to the information of what you need to do. And guess what? You will get a chance to win this beautiful Intercontinental Championship title. So you guys please check out that. Shout
Classic
out
title.
the
Old
classic
school
title. Yeah, the
title.
old school title. Yes, the old
And
school title.
very important because we noticed from our meetings. Slam will check and make sure you follow all those directions because we here
Oh yeah,
going through
yeah,
applicants one by one. We do have several in, but it is still open because remember, it is going to be announced on Slam Show on March the 1st after the day after Chamber. So use Chamber as your reminder, like, hey, when Chamber comes on, which is this Saturday, that is your last opportunity to go ahead and to enter. So please
Mhm.
ask your friends for $15. Please ask your man, ask your boo or your girl, if you want to stay at home husbands, ask them, for $15,
Yeah.
and save your money for this here,
Who you telling?
this.
But we will be back next week. As you guys know, we didn't stream. We're on here stream with you guys now on YouTube or wherever you're watching us from. So shouts out to y'all guys. We will see you guys next week. Back on.
Well, wait. We will see. Well, the radio is back next week, but this week is the Elimination Chamber watch party
Well, yeah,
on
people will
on
have to follow
Twitch.
us on Twitch because I don't know if they're going. Are y'all guys going to follow us on Twitch? You better follow us on Twitch to see us again. If y'all want to see us again,
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
so. But
yeah. And you know,
we
and
will see.
and here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a little peek behind the curtain, just because you gotta go quick, because people watch NXT. Well, no, they don't. But
Oh Lord.
uh, when we used to do these watch parties on X, and some asshole decided to take down Miami's page. So there's that. But when the last PLE came, because I'm so used to being in the watch party with Miami because we've been doing it forever. I'm like, how am I watching this here PLE? I was lost, and I was gonna pull up the whole thing that our Truth did on SmackDown about how to watch the PLEs, but Miami was like, no, that's wrong information. Don't do it that way. It's not.
Lost.
It's
Everybody
not gonna
said it.
work. And I'm
Why you think they
like,
doing what they doing now?
and then I'm like, well, oh, and then that's when Miami said, wait a minute, so how are you watching it the whole time? I'm like, what you mean? I'm always in the watch party with you. And he goes, oh, so you one of the fans? You one of the fans that's missing the watch party? I'm like, yes, yes, even me, even me. I'm also one of the fans who missed the watch party. So if you're like me, don't feel some kind of way, because even me, um, is a fan of our watch parties. And last PLE World Rumble, I was gonna watch it on ESPN the app, but it is blocked by my work for some reason. So that's a thing. So it also may be blocked at your work. Why ESPN blocked? I don't know. But they like Peacock, but not ESPN for some reason. I don't know why. So I had to go ahead and go into Discord. Shouts out to Kicking Out at 2, and do their watch parties for me to watch it because I couldn't access ESPN at work. So if you're also at work, there's a chance that your ESPN may not work. So you may want to join us on Twitchy.
Yep, that's all you gotta do. Those simple things. But
Now, 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 make sure you explain to them how to get to our Twitch, like just how our True explained to us about how to get ESPN. Go ahead.
it's real simple. All you gotta do is go to Twitch, put it in that search bar, put DWE_watch_along. That's all it's gonna take. We on one. Is on. That's the only place you're gonna
Now,
be able
wait
to.
a minute. Now, wait a minute. Now,
We don't
now,
put
now,
it. We
now,
don't
do I
put it
have to
for
pay for
fans.
this?
Huh?
Now, do we have to pay?
As far as I know, no. Because actually,
Okay.
CJ started his He started a Twitch account and it was for free. So no, it's free. Just get on there and follow as a fan. Please keep going to our um Spotify, listening to all our stuff. Thank y'all for coming to the YouTubes and watching the shorts and everything everyone has been doing. It's just a thank you to our DWE fans and everyone who's known us for DWE Island, the island of DWE, and who's fans of Final Boss, of her and her makeup and her pages. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. And people who
Nails.
like follow me. But other than that, I mean, that's all you gotta do. So we hope to see you guys because right after we go off,
Radio. That's not fucking radio.
yep, right after we go off, I think I'm pretty sure because it's a late one. Right after we go off, I'm pretty sure we'll probably go off as soon as the show's over. I'm pretty sure CJ will be like 30 minutes or an hour behind once the show goes off. And I'm coming on reviewing.
Apparently it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern time is what WWE say.
Oh, okay. Well, that's part of the kickoff show. Oh yeah, and then CJ will be doing a prediction show this week too. But I think that's on Wednesday, so that will be
No. Oh yeah, it is this Wednesday.
yep.
It's
It'll be
just
this one.
Wednesday.
So y'all guys join him and see. He will have some guests on there, Final Boss. He will have Elliot, Lou, Stampede, and he will have some more guests. I think he got like 7 people. Um, some new people. So hey, you guys might want to stop by and see. You might want to follow those new people that's
And
on there.
also, also, if you, yes, you, not
Me?
you, but
Oh,
you, if
oh.
you are interested in being part of CJ's panel for the Elimination Chamber predictions this Wednesday, all you have
Ooh.
to do
Yeah,
is DM EVP CJP on X if you're interested. It doesn't matter if you are a podcaster that has a big podcast, a small podcast, or if you're just a fan. This can be your opportunity to meet some fellow fans. Some of them have podcasts, some are just fans, but for you to get your voice heard and be on the panel with CJ. Nothing is special required besides you having a phone, maybe a light if you're into having a nice little ring light. You want to feel more pretty and edited, or having a PC if you want to go ahead and put the background on and do fancy things. But that's all that's required, and for you to, at least know some about what's going to happen at Chamber. Um, please don't come in there and be lost. And yeah, so we'll love to have you. As far as I know, I believe CJ has two spots available as of what he can feel at his max. So if those are interested, is go ahead and again DM CJ, sorry, EVP CJP, and that's on X. And I'm talking to
Yeah.
you. Yes, you. Not the guy behind you. You.
Yeah, shouts out to everyone. I guess the quote for today for DW Radio by Miami will be, don't forget that respect is not given, it's earned. Just know that, if you give people respect, they should give you respect too. So just know that, and surround yourself around positive people and good energy, and you will always have good energy around you. I guess that's my quote for today for DW Radio. Other than that, thank you, Final Boss, for joining me on DW Radio. Thank you for always being a co-host. We will see you guys next week. We will be back on our regular schedule. That will be Saturday, 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for always joining us for DW Radio. I'm glad you guys love this. We started off on Spaces. Now we're on live. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and also Twitch. So
I don't remember the spaces.
I know. I don't. It's crazy. I don't see how she doesn't remember that, guys. But hey, who's the old one now? I guess Final Boss. Final Boss. Anyway, hope you
Yeah,
guys.
I'm your boss. I'm your goddamn boss.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. We hope you guys enjoyed
Okay.
Chamber.
Oh, you funny. You think you goddamn at a piss. Oh, yes, you will. See you there. Yes, you will.
We will see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed Chamber. Please join us for Chamber. Other than that, we will see you guys later. And don't forget, there's only one DWE and there's no other. You can imitate but never duplicate. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.